Last we left our heroes, you'd almost all survived an encounter with the wicked winter hag, your dark tabaxi druid Gord having fallen in battle. As you gather yourselves and fished his corpse from the rapidly thawing lake, a large group of Auvergne citizens approached shakily as the effects of this mad laughter seemed to subside with the hag's departure. Together you returned to the village, and again together you took in the damages done to the peoples here and to yourselves. You were provided a room to rest and recuperate, but top of mind for most of your party was to revive Gord, as Valentine had utilized his abilities to do so in the past. The ritual was set, and you watched as the angel arrived and was subsequently attacked by some dark force from within Gord's fallen form. Defeated and unsure of what this means for your group, moving forward you rested, and as the morning light broke the treetops, you found Gord conscious, breathing, and seemingly healed. However, as Gord recalls the fragments of time spent beyond the brink, the tortures, pain, and anguish, the demented punishment of a vengeful lord of undeath, that was one long night. Regardless, as light breaks, you were all reunited and set out to receive word from the tribal elders of the Sylvan tribe, whether or not you be permitted to travel through the woods, or sent home, or worse. Sadly, that message was delayed, to the frustration of your group and to your host Dameron, and another night in the village came and went without another winter storm. It was not, however, entirely peaceful, as Valentine was visited by a shadowy figure in a dream. Taking the form of his father, this figure taunted and prodded Valentine, spoke rather poorly about the Summer Queen's true nature, and ultimately invited you to meet him at Gallifrey, the Everlight Tree. No worse for wear, though, you all awoke and found word had come that would permit your swift travel to the Heartwood city of Endora, and your meeting with the Sylvan Elders to occur upon arrival 4 to 5 days from now. And then you were led by the final tribal elder Dameron and a small group of her chosen. You swiftly set off towards Endora. Journey was indeed swift, as the woods seemed to respond favorably to your troop, with this entourage leading you there, and you travel. You traveled for several days, camped comfortably for several nights before arriving at the edge of a massive horseshoe cliffside. Waterfalls spilling out into the wide expanse that filled with a thick fog, but growing up out of that fog, you see amidst an immense treetop city. And you are now being led across a twisted root bridge from one cliffside toward the base of this tree, and the city within is where we'll begin our session tonight. So you are being led across this root bridge, as I said, towards this immense tree, within which you see the these groupings of elven structures that are built within its boughs, tall arched peaks, sweeping curves of white wood built around and within the natural platforms of the tree and the tree tops, kind of all in different kind of pieces up throughout this immense tree. You see many sets of stairs and long bridges that connect these clusters of structures that sit where the boughs of trees would allow kind of platforms for construction. However, around the base, on your level, you see a large city sprawl. Floral blossoms of 1,000 different kinds cover the exterior of these buildings, and hanging out of windows along long vines, ivy grows up and amongst the tall walls of spire-like structures and towers, and along the lower base of the tree itself. As you guys are crossing the bridge, is there anything you want to prepare or do as you're being led rather swiftly by Dameron and the small group of Auvergne Rangers?
So we do have a small group leading us in, right?
Yeah, so Dameron at the head, Andal and Shara are with you as you guys had requested. And then there were 4 more or 3 more, if I'm mistaken, but there's a handful. There are Andal, Shara, and Dameron are ahead of you, and the rest are kind of trailing behind, just keeping watch around. And now that they're in comfortable territory, far less worried or on guard. But as you first initially cross, and as you make your way across into the lower reaches of the actual city at the base, guards, elven guards, kind of similar to the ones you're being walked with, they watch you pass, but with Dameron at the helm of your troop, they pay you no minds. They look over you. They look at your group, but not They make no move to be aggressive or stop you or halt in any capacity. They don't even say anything, but they just watch as you go by, and you guys begin to enter the lower reaches of the city. If there's anything you want to do?
Just out of curiosity, in the time we've traveled, of the group we're with, how many of them, like percentage-wise, speak Common?
Of the 5 or 6 that are with you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get like a gauge on how many people here in general might actually speak Common, or like how many percentage when we were in the camp spoke Common.
When you were in Auburn and with this group, only Dameron so far has spoken anything other than Elvish. Everyone of the citizens have spoken Elvish. You have heard another language that is, it seems, based in Elvish. It has the same kind of same tone and like some similar wording, almost like Latin and English. Like you could see the correlation and you could understand it, but not understand directly. But no one other than Dameron has spoken Common besides your group.
Okay.
As you guys continue kind of through the city, you see people are lounging and relaxing about large gardens and green spaces along the base of the tree, and kind of in this sprawl of land that kind of encompasses this kind of what it kind of gives the feeling of a floating city, as it's kind of gathered out over this this horseshoe cliff and this ocean of water beneath, and these like roots that are coming out from multiple directions from like the mainland and connect, then spiral up to grow this main tree. And around the base is kind of a gathering of rock and root and soil that has now been grown, and you see many things growing all about you, likely as a blessing of the multiple patrons that provide light to this area of the world. But as you continue walking through, you see almost primarily light brown skin, long pointed ear, tall and straight backed elves who appear cheerful and watch as you kind of pass through the streets, and you do catch a lot of quizzical or awestruck kind of expressions. It seems your coming is a little intriguing, maybe surprising to some people. And almost as you fully cross the bridge, enter the lower ward, and begin headed towards, you see Dameron kind of veering along this path towards this large staircase at the base of the tree. You almost feel a little bit on show, or like walking as if you guys are a zoo exhibit. And not that everything comes to a halt in the city, but as you pass by people, they are kind of watching, and some amused, some quizzical, some you can actually make out, especially Mary. You gather there are some looks of like disgust is probably what you would best intone, that there are other peoples within the city.
Is there any like particular one of us, or like race, I guess, that they seem more or less interested in or disdainful towards?
Make a perception check.
My money's on the guy who, when he walks by plants, they all die.
It's a 17.
It's difficult to get a good bead, as there are just many faces, and it's all almost hard to pick out the ones that are kind of looking, as I said, disdainful or disgust towards you. And you are traveling in a relatively compacted group, so how to pinpoint where exactly they're looking is a little difficult. However, as you do start getting an idea that they are looking, some people are looking at you less than favorably, you look about and you do see kind of in Gord's wake some wilting of flowers, and just like even along the path that is not a cobblestone path or anything, it's just kind of like a dirt and grass and weeds kind of growing up through. You can see almost in the path that you've walked a faint line where things are decaying quicker than they should. So whether it's him or your group as a whole, You're not entirely sure, and you don't get exactly who it is they're staring at, but you could understand that multiple races and people from beyond the city in general are going to kind of be looked at differently by certain people. But this definitely isn't helping with the general populace. However, Dameron leads you to the base of this this large staircase that ends the end of this long kind of main path at the base of this tree. And this tree is immense, mountainous at the base. All of you together with your arms linked couldn't reach around one side of this tree. But she turns back to you and says, "The elders will know we have arrived now, and is instructed I am to bring you to them immediately. The climb can be a bit frightening for some of you if you're not accustomed to heights or suffer from vertigo. So take your time and tread softly. But just be careful."
Lavin, are you good with heights?
I am pretty good with heights.
Hondo, are you good with heights?
Always.
Hondo, Lavin, I was meaning to ask you, what do you think our play should be when we talk to these elders about like the Doob Katha and the artifacts? Like, how do you think we should play this one?
Hondo?
Aggressive. We need to make them feel uneasy.
Maybe I could disguise myself as somebody.
I could do that too.
You can't do that.
I believe I can.
How? By putting another hat on?
No, there are ways. I have ways.
My name's Hondo. I'm another person. Believe me.
I actually think he has that magic now.
I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
So that was a reverse psychology. I was hoping you guys would share your terrible ideas so we could just get them out of the way now. Let's not be aggressive, and maybe try not to deceive them by being someone else.
Oh, God.
Let's just see. Let's let them set the atmosphere, and then let's just like mirror it.
Hey, Hondo. My name's Valentine. Be yourself. Be honest. Love everybody. Believe everybody.
As you guys are having this conversation, you reach the top of this staircase, and ahead you guys have kind of hung back to have this conversation as Dameron and the other rangers kind of take point. You see they are kind of awaiting the top of the staircase, and you just see it kind of drops away ahead of them, not connecting to any specific path. And as you kind of come to finish this moment of conversation, you watch as a four-cornered, vine-powered kind of elevator slowly drops to your level, wide enough to carry. It's relatively large and wide enough to carry, you imagine, about 15 or so creatures. And Dameron, as it kind of settles in place, a little shakily, she gestures for you guys to get onto this platform, and you notice there are no railings. It is just a straight platform. And as you guys all kind of slowly make your way, and there's a tense moment as Keith is like about to step on it, and Dameron just puts a hand to you, Allie, and is like, perhaps I'll leave it to you. Perhaps he should remain on the low side. He'll be well cared for. But it's your call.
Okay.
We could bring him in 2 trips.
Okay.
It's your call.
Whatever works. Just take care of him.
He'll be well cared for.
Okay.
She, in Elvis, you see, you see, but Valentine and Mary, you pick up, she turns to 2 of the other rangers that are with you, and instructs them to take Keith down to a nearby stable and make sure he's well fed. And she turns back and says, "Trust me, he will be more than happy to go with them. We have rather good food."
Thank you so much for doing that. Good food. Okay, don't let him eat too much. He will eat everything in sight if you put it in front of him. So
she immediately turns back to them, and Elvish is just like gives them a word of caution, and they just kind of nod. But Keith doesn't initially go with them. They are pulling his reins, and he is just not moved yet. And he just kind of puts his head low and plants himself. And he
You
looks
got
at
this,
you.
boy. You got this, boy. We're gonna be okay. I'm gonna come back, okay? You're gonna get fed. Lots of food.
He
Enjoy.
shifts slightly.
Think of it as a vacation.
Make an animal handling check.
Oh, I love this. I love these moments.
I have a question. Does anyone know who is the notorious elf killer or most feared elf killer?
Oh God.
Wow.
Are you asking the group or?
I'm asking the group. What's his name? There's a legend or there's someone there.
The Doob Katha, the one who's been stalking us?
So what if I disguise myself as the Ducata?
Now,
Why?
okay, wait.
And
I wanna-
also the Ducata.
I want to hear it out. I want to hear out the logic of disguising yourself as a Doob Katha. What's the play?
Look, we're outsiders. They're not going to trust us, but if we scare them, they will still.
If we scare them, they will. What was the end of that?
Bill.
Spill.
Spill.
I
Okay,
don't
you
know if
spill
you're
your
onto
blood.
something.
And they just murder you.
I don't think they will threaten the Ducata.
I don't think they're going to need to threaten you. They don't need to know anything from you. They'll just kill you.
That's kind of the thing I think was going to happen. I like the imagination. I say maybe we put it in the back pocket and see if we need to bust it out. But don't lead with your best trick.
I mean, I think the lesson we might want to take from Hondo is they are likely terrified of this creature. And,
Oh my God.
and
You
perhaps
just did a lesson from Hondo.
That is
I'm
funny.
trying really hard. If you dig very deep, this is a serious threat. And I mean, we faced it, and we can continue to do so on their behalf if they are willing to cooperate.
Okay.
What was
On
your
those
animal
planes.
handling check there, Allie?
21.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
As Hondo is talking about the merits of pretending to be the Dubkatha in the midst of political discussion, you convince Keith that food is better than scary heights,
Mhm.
and he reluctantly begins to trot off with the two elven archers, and you guys step on top of this platform, and it begins to rise frighteningly high with no barrier to keep you from falling. It's relatively stable as long as you're not moving too much, but the elevator platform rises well into the boughs of this tree, and it just continues to rise up and up and up. Eventually, it does come to a slow halt, and Dameron steps off along a long, curved walkway of sturdy white wood that is jutting out from the base of the tree, and again is not railing, has no railing. It is railingless. Is just this platform. The Rangers begin to walk with confidence, 2 by 2, and you guys begin to follow in tow. But it is a little. You guys are fearsome warriors, but this gives a little kind of plays with your stomach a little bit. You are not in any threat. Nothing is going to throw you off, but it just kind of fucks you up a little bit. Finally, you follow and reach a wide staircase that rises up to a platform, and atop this platform that kind of sits up and out over the city. You look hundreds of feet below to see the city continuing below, and just looking up across the expanse of the veil before you. And it is an awe-inspiring sight. It is amazing and it is beautiful, with a hint of fear. But atop this platform that juts out over the city, there's a central domed building of classic elven architecture, sweeping curves and intricate natural patterns carved into the beams. The dome itself, you see, is open to the sun and to the air, but you can see there are panels that would be able to slide across and close it off if need be. Dameron pauses at the top of these stairs, about 10 feet from the door, and turns to you once more in common and says, allow me to enter and greet my people, and we'll come to gather you momentarily if you just wait a few minutes. And she steps up and heads inside, leaving your party and Andal and Shara just kind of on this precarious balcony.
Can I summon Fern to just fly up to us?
Yeah, sure. I kind of thought Fern was with you.
I was hoping he was, but I just wanted him there visually, so that's perfect.
Fern was just kind of flying beside the elevator as it was going up, and then just continued walking along with you.
From this height on the balcony, can we get an idea of how big the city is, or is it hard to tell with the trees?
As you guys were rising, you could have got a glimpse. However, you would have only seen one side, and as you get high, you can see it wraps around the rest of this kind of mountainous tree, and you can't quite make out like the full range. It's not a massive city. It's not, Arendelle size or even city size. It's like maybe the upper level ward of Verdansia size, on the edge of a large village or small city. At best guess.
What is can I try and gauge the mood of Andal and Shara?
Sure, make an insight check.
Ooh, real good. Not very good, but still good. 26.
The two of them, as you kind of quickly glance over their body language, and they have yet to really speak since you guys have been traveling. You've talked with them over the travel, and they do have a little bit of history with you now, and they've gotten kind of chummy with you. They don't seem concerned. They kind of seem, at best, they seem on duty. They are doing their job. They have kind of a strict code of honor, and they're keeping to their position at this point in time, and just kind of holding the line, holding guard as best they can. Just straight backed, arms behind, kind of held behind their backs, not engaging, but not out of rudeness, just out of this is our job now.
They're putting on a show because now they're in the capital and
a little bit.
Look
Francis is with us too.
Francis and Grant have been kind of hanging back ever so slightly from your group, but they're with you for sure.
So
they seem a little bit more frightened of the heights and position that they are at, and as you approach Francis, he does seem a little lost in thought, just kind of preparing himself, I guess is what best you would understand.
Sorry to interrupt. I can tell you're working through something.
No problem. This is just kind of the culmination of a long time, and this is with your help and your friends' help. This is a great step that our peoples have been able to achieve.
Oof, you just jinxed yourself so bad. So bad. Just wait till we get in there. You should hear what that one was talking about. I'll look over at Hondo.
Well, it will not be because of me that this will fall apart, and I will look back at this hopeful that it doesn't go that way.
The main thing I just wanted to say is I think you should talk first, and then there's some stuff we'll obviously want to address with them, but I think maybe you should open it up first.
I think that is wise. I would appreciate the chance to try and establish our purpose as our people's purpose, as the province and that of the realm. But not to belittle your purposes, they are with equal measure, but yeah, I think to open it up from a political discussion standpoint before the potential that you bring is wise. I agree.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with stressing the knowledge we've told you, where, firsthand, Arendelle was under siege. We were just from Haverstock, where they similarly faced combat against the Revenant Vow. So things are happening. You can use that.
It is fair to your knowledge. You have been firsthand at both encounters. You have faced this Revenant Vow. The knowledge of who and what are committing these crimes and these attacks, the Revenant Vow has only ever come from your group. There is very little information being put forth across the realm that this group is a group. We are only aware because of you.
Well, that's kind of concerning and kind of nice that it's important, but kind of concerning that I don't want this to be brushed aside as just some story we've twisted and come up with, but we'll just see how this goes.
That is not how I intend to explain it. I mean only the purpose of this endeavor is to open these borders of communication, along with trade, along with reconciling peace of this tenuous anger and simmering silence between the provinces. With these open borders, freedom of information comes across as well. I do believe, even within the Delarian family, that playing their cards close to the vest in this kind of encounter is what they believe to be right. I think you are showing us, the Wildcards are showing us, there are threats that cannot be dealt with in such a way.
We're good at putting our cards on the table. Very on brand. Last thing I'll say is our danger word is disco. So...
Oh, please don't tell me.
If you say the word, it's go time.
I will strike it from my vocabulary.
I'll just walk away mouthing disco.
Okay. A few more minutes pass as you guys kind of start to grow a little impatient, and you hear nothing from the room beyond, whether it is based in they're talking quietly or you're not even sure what's happening. You hear nothing on the other side of those doors. But about 10 minutes go by before the doors open a crack and then slightly more, and you see an elven male standing before you. This stern-looking face of sharp features, darker brown skin, wearing these long white and green robes. He's very tall, very lithe, silvery hair, straight back, arms, or his shoulders back, very tall, very regal appearance. You see a simple wooden crown of light wood that encircles his head like a circlet, and out of the sides, 2 antlers kind of frame the top of his head. He looks across you all and says, "We will speak with the emissary of the Exandrian king alone, and then we will see the rest of you. If you would step forward, Master Flurwild." Francis kind of looks for a moment at your group, nods at you, Valentine, gives like a little nod to Grant, who follows him, and he strides confidently forward, climbing the few stairs, and passes this figure into the room. This figure looks to you all and says, "The rest of you may be led to the waiting chambers." And he nods to Andal and Shara, who nod in unison. As the doors shut quietly behind, they beckon you to follow them around the edge of this main building. You kind of go along in this little curved pathway to a smaller version of the same building, connected like a pod around the backside. The doors are open, and inside you see there are no windows along the northern wall, and you're granted again like a brilliant vista overlooking the Vale and beyond. And you see just kind of like wraparound seating of relatively comfortable looking seating around the entirety of this kind of domed circular chamber. But you're led within, and Andal and Shara kind of stand at the door awaiting all of you to enter, and as you settle in, they close the doors, one waiting inside, one waiting outside.
You guys nervous? You guys feeling nervous at all?
Oh,
you guys-
now I'm nervous.
Are the elves still with us now? Are they still there?
Shara is inside and Andal is standing outside. So Shara is at the door, still like in her guard position, still like not really meeting eye contact, just kind of like standing at guard. But she's on the interior wall. Andal has taken the exterior.
She does not speak common, so she won't understand what we're saying.
Feel like, you know, that dream I talked about the other night, like almost a week ago. Feel like let's not talk about that right off the top. When we talked to Dameron about that didn't really go well. So maybe we just hold on to that for a little bit.
Yeah, there was that place that she told us not to mention.
Not in front of Shara.
Well, we're not.
She
going
like
to
breaks
mention
for
it.
a moment, and as you may say her name, she kind of gives you like a quick look.
I was hoping this isn't common, by the way. Hopefully she doesn't speak it very well.
It is, but her name is still her name. So she just looks at you for like a moment, just like with a squint of her eye, but nothing beyond that.
All right. Well, I mean, what are our talking points here?
Talking points are this. Dubkath is up to something. He's hurt in the forest. We want to help because he seems like a dick. Also, the Revenant Vow are trying to end the world by making this a layer of hell. Could use your help just in general with the world. 3, relic talk?
I think that needs to come later.
Me too.
Admittedly, I think leading with the connection to your patron went well with Dameron. And maybe that's our maybe that's our, obviously this is hurting you and here's why it's hurting us too, right? We have this bigger, badder thing that we need to go up against. And it seems like it's affecting your ability to help us do that. It's not just, I mean, we're not just doing this out of the good of our hearts as much as, yes, fuck all this shit and I'd rather these people not suffer. But there's if they let us help, it's going to help both sides. We have a personal stake in this. We're not just here to fuck around.
Valentine is pretending like he had thought of that. And he's like, yeah, yeah, obviously, that's good. And he'll start scribbling that down in his notebook.
About 15 minutes passes as you guys are having this conversation with no word.
Shara, I'll speak in Elvish.
Mhm.
You ever been here before? Ever brought people here before?
I personally have not. No, this is, as I understand, a relatively rare occurrence. You should be proud.
Yeah, very proud, very proud. Just, I don't like waiting. I'm not a really patient person.
I find it interesting. I suppose that is the human side of your half-elven nature. We elves are very patient. We live a very long time. Things can take time to grow.
It's more like every time we wait a while, something bad happens or one of us does something foolish because they get a little antsy. So, you know.
I would advise against the latter part of that statement. It will not end well for you, and I would very much hate to have to turn on you. That would be truly troubling.
I wouldn't like it either, so.
So we have an accord. Excellent.
Great.
Be patient. Everything will come in time.
Okay. I'll speak in common and just tell mostly Hondo. She said she'll murder us if things go bad.
I'll keep it quiet for now.
Okay.
Another 20 minutes pass. Edges into 45 minutes you've been waiting. And slowly...
Do I have a game set? I'm just going to check my inventory for a game set. You can keep going.
Don't you have you have cards or chess or something?
I
like
gotta
that?
have
Technically,
some.
someone has some. Yeah, you guys in like your starting equipment, you usually have a cards, dice, or chess.
So I think we
Kevin might
bust
too.
all of those out and we just start playing a couple games here on the floor.
Sure.
Because Valentine is hell.
you guys to pass the time. You play some games. You have some idle chat. As a little over the hour mark passes, there's a faint knock on the door, and Shara steps outside. You hear a very, very quiet conversation in Elvish that is, even for the two of you who speak Elvish, you can't quite make it out. It's very quick, quiet. But immediately the doors are opened again, and Andal and Shara stand there and say, in Elvish, the Sylvan Sinod will see you now.
Sylvan
Wonderful.
Sinod? Can you spell that, Kyle? Because I don't think we've heard that before.
Silvansinod.
Thank you.
No problem. The two of them lead you to the main doors of the main room that you passed, where Francis has passed under previously. They open the doors and usher you inside, where you see around the room directly as you walk in, along the edges of the room, in the same manner that you guys had seen in the room you were just in, these like wraparound seating. You see that same wraparound seating, however, each chair, each space, there are 5, and they are all like small, like intertwined like branches in an arch pattern, kind of thrones that kind of come around and encapsulate these little pods. They look rather comfortable and lush seating, and within each of them you see a range of elven individuals, all of, it would appear, of more of a wood elf background, as most of the elves here have, given their darker brown or light brown skin tone. You see Dameron at the far side. You see the male elf who initially had pulled Francis in, kind of sat in the middle seat. On either side of him is another 2 female elves, and on the far left side is a young-looking male elf. But all are of this the same, what appear wood elven race. In the middle of the room, kind of still standing, you see Francis. Grant has taken a seat in these. There is a small cluster of chairs that are sat in the middle of this room, almost, but on a platform ahead, almost like a lectern. Francis is standing as you guys enter, and he looks back to you with a bit of a smile on his face, though he looks. Best to describe. He looks like he's been arguing or speaking for a long time and a little frustrated. It's best. The best first impression you can see is he's not quite got what he wants, but he doesn't look like he's not in chains. He's not in trouble, but he's having to try and argue his position.
Like a little bit of fatigue.
Little, yeah. But he nonetheless is happy to see you all, and you are all enter into the room, and the doors are shut behind you. Andal and Shara staying on the exterior. As you kind of make your way slightly further into the room towards the center, you see there is no other doors, no other exits. There's a single door, and the windows behind the 5 are open onto the northern expanse of the Vale, northwestern expanse. The male figure who first spoke with you stands from his seated position and says, "We have spoken at length with Master Florwild here. It is, our discussions have not finished." He's speaking in common, I should say. Our discussions have not finished as of yet. However, at his advisement, you are to be brought forward to plead a secondary case in conjunction with the reconciliation of the Exandrian king. One that supposedly will aid his arguments, but also, apparently, serve your own purposes. My name is Elder Elisar. You may address me as such. He gestures to his left, and he says, "This is Keen Tarel." He gestures a little further to the left. You see Dameron. This is Elder Dameron. To his right, he says, "This is Laurel Viel." And finally, he gestures to the far right, to the other male. You see Elder Phaon. We are the Sylvan Sinod of the Sylvan tribe, and this is a very rare occurrence. I trust you take advantage of your time here, but I will grant your group your chance to speak. And he sits.
I'll look at my group and kind of just take a step forward and be like, we're truly grateful and honored for this audience and opportunity to speak with you. Our story's wide-reaching, so it's hard to pick a point to begin with, but I'll just come out with, I think, the most vital thing, which is that a cult of Asmodeus is trying to bring the material plane trying to transform it into a 10th layer of hell. Obviously, this affects everyone.
He immediately kind of puts a hand forward and says, "A cult of Asmodeus, this was not what we had expected to come from you. Your emissary had made note that you would be speaking on the matters of," he kind of takes a breath, "the Dubkatha. We were informed that you may have insights into it. You bring another matter forth."
Well, that's why it's important to always be on the same page. I said our story was wide-reaching, so why don't we go from the macro to the micro? Yes, we have had dealings with the Dubkatha, and we think we know he's what's plaguing this forest and causing these blizzards and causing these ritualistic sacrifices.
Do you have any evidence to this claim?
Aside from us witnessing it firsthand and savoring some of Elder Dameron's villagers, Dameron was there herself. I'm sure her word vouches way more than ours does.
She stands at this point and she says, "I have traveled with these adventurers for several days and hosted them at Auburn for a few more. They indeed have been a great boon to our city and seem to have quelled these sudden bursts of winter that have plagued us. And though Valentine speaks true that they have, for the time, dealt with this plague, I admit I have not seen or witnessed anything of my own. I, however, will say I trust in their judgment, and in the short time I do admit I believe that what they say is true. However, I must be frank, I have not yet witnessed it myself. That is for the other elders to make their judgments." And she takes a seat back, to which Elder Elisar kind of sits up and kind of steeples his hands in front of him and says, "You've swayed one of our members. You've proven yourselves at least to her. In that, I will allow you to continue in either line of discussion in which you wish to pursue. However, I would appreciate if you have evidence to back up claims and not just fancy words."
Filled with a lot of fancy words, so I'll try and get some actual evidence here. I mean, Look at all the gloom crossings that are popping up. Look at the blighted groves that are happening. What do you think is causing all of these to pop up and become a scourge across this forest?
You see, as you say that, Elder Elisar and Keen Tarell, their expressions kind of go a little sour. You see Laurel kind of peek her eyebrow, just raises ever so slightly at his right, and Phaon is nonplussed. He has not changed his expression this entire time. Elisar begins to speak, but Keen kind of jumps in beside him, standing, and she says, "And what would your troop know of gloom crossings and blighted groves? You have accordingly only been within our forests for a number of days, and you have witnessed a single one?"
You're right. I think we experienced 2 on our way through here. We also saved Shara from one of these gloom crossings, as well as Andal, when a hideous monster rose up from them and attacked our group. I'll admit, I even fell in that battle, and it was thanks to Elder Dameron who saved my life from it. But
you watch Keen and Elisar both quickly kind of give her a kind of sharp look to Dameron. And you see Laurel not cut you off, but she sits forward and kind of looks over at Elisar and Keen as you continue your statement.
I am chosen by the Summer Queen. I have a connection to her. She has a connection to me. My energy, my magic flows through me because of her blessing. I'll telepathically have little Fernie come forward, and I'll just put a hand on his head.
Mm-hmm.
Fern here
and sits sitting like a proper a dog, a show dog,
like a good boy.
But even sitting, he is a little taller than Valentine standing. He's a large animal, but you notice none of them bat an eye at the presence of this creature.
And when I first had my first encounter with the Dubkatha, he was intentionally separating my magic from the draw of the Summer Queen. A crow itself was burst from my blade, which is truly my connection to her, my instrument through which I wield my magic. And he's spoken to me. He's against the Summer Queen. He wants to defeat her. I mean, when we encountered one of these hags, they were making offerings to him, bring something worthy, offer it. And people died and crows carried them away. And I get it. We're the outsiders. We look real strange. You guys have been chilling here, and obviously you're weary of outsiders. But things are happening in your forest, and we're only trying to help you here.
You see Laurel stand, and she's been as soon as you began talking of being the patron of the Summer Queen, and you bring forth your blade just to show the hilt as the symbol of what you're speaking of. She's been staring at it, and as soon as you finish speaking, she stands up rather quickly and strides a little close, and in Elvish asks, "You claim to be that of the Summer Queen, and I wish to, with your permission, just look over your blade for confirmation."
I'll say in Elvish back, "I don't claim to be," and I'll hand her the blade.
She kind of, a little smile at the corner of her lips kind of tilt up as she returns to her seat and is just kind of fiddling with your blade, just looking it over. And you recognize Lavender, Valentine, and Gord, and Hondo to an extent. You recognize the inspection of an arcane mind. Someone looking for what you would look for while identifying something, or while trying to suss out what this item can do when you're on a short or long rest. When you find a new artifact, you quickly gather that from her. But Elisar and Keen, almost tripping over one another, go to speak, and Keen kind of steps back to allow Elisar to continue and say, the dealings of these Gloom Crossings and of these Blighted Groves are one of our borders. We've worked tirelessly to keep them at bay and to quell their darkness. We do apologize for your entangling within them. However, I see not how that is any of your concern. You mentioned, however, the involvement of hags with this Dubkatha. You think they are in league, or he's using them, or they using him? How do you connect the two?
I'm sure you've heard of the coven of the Three of the Northwind, these hags, the rumors of them.
Indeed.
I think they're all working together. I know not their allegiances and who has the higher status here, but I think they both are from the Unseelie court. They're both working to bring mischief and chaos against the Seelie court, so their paths are aligned. But I will tell you that some cold winter hag was having people, she had hypnotized them. Damry can speak to this. We had to hunt them down and save them. And listen, with no disrespect, you said, hey, sorry you had to deal with the Gloom Crossing stuff. We're not just talking about that. Half her village was basically wiped out. My friend almost died trying to save these people. This is very personal to us, and we are putting ourselves here intentionally. So we haven't just wandered into this by accident and are going to piss off. This is intentional. The Dubkatha needs to be stopped, and we're going to fucking stop him, but we need your help.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah, get it.
Lavender leans over to Hondo and says, this is a Valentine I can get behind.
It was a natural 17, so this is going to be big.
Oof.
38? Is that, how does math work? 17 plus 15? What is that? 32?
Yeah, I feel like we've been off for too long.
32. You watch as you finish your impassioned speech of purpose and drive. Dameron, who has already kind of been a little ingratiated to your group, smiles and nods. You watch Keen and Elisar both share a look and like a very faint shake of the head and dismissal. But you catch Laurel Vial look away up for the first time from your blade. And Phaon, Mary is probably the only one who really catches this. You see for a moment a nod and a faint smile of agreement before returning to a very placid nothing on this guy's face.
Quick question. When these guys have all been talking, have we been able to try to get a bead on like if there's any hierarchy here? Like this Alisar has been talking the most, but like do others seem to be like leaving the floor to him?
Let's throw that to an insight check for that, I guess.
Okay.
That's probably the best skill for that.
I rolled my minimum, but that's still pretty good.
18 or something.
And I think it's higher than that. I rolled a 5, but that's an 8 plus 11.
19, okay.
Yeah, okay, 19.
It does seem like they are all equal. However, Elisar is either elevated in way of, he seems like the eldest of the elders, to put it in that respect. So perhaps just giving him a little bit more leeway, a little bit more authority,
Like more respect.
More respect, and he seems to be. He does seem to carry a little bit more weight in either his argument or his statement, more so than the rest. But it does seem like there is still. He's not king. He's not fully in charge. There is still weight for the rest. It just is a little bit. He's in a little bit more power.
So like it's probably an equal vote but more people might follow his lead type thing.
Probable.
Okay.
Sorry, I was going to throw my music in the chat too if anyone wants to listen to this. I like this track. Oh, I lost my page. At this point, Elisar and Keen, as I said, kind of share this look and say, as I said, these gloom crossings and blighted groves are ours to deal with, and as you say, there are bigger things to address. Again, you show no evidence of connection between the two beyond your personal experience. And he looks at Dameron, and some confirmation by one of ours, which does hold sway, I admit. He looks like he's about to say something when Laurel kind of finishes with your blade, and she stands up and flips it back and hands it to you, and says, as she stands, everyone else stops. She says, in common, I only wish to observe the blade of one blessed by the Summer Queen, as I'd never quite seen ones in such a manner. She turns now to the group and says, I was foretold of the coming of one of the Summer Queen's blessed, as I, too, am a follower of the Summer Queen.
Valentine tries to hide his fuck yes reaction.
He doesn't do a good job.
She looks to Elisar and says, it is true, he is indeed a follower and a chosen of one of our patrons, and thus I think we should grant them, at least those who follow him, a fair amount of leeway in these discussions. Perhaps less cross-examination and more communication. And she returns to her seated position, but continues speaking. And looking at Valentine specifically, says, I have my confirmation of your allegiance. However, should it please the court and perhaps provide us some insights, I do have a way for us that we may both confirm your intent and learn something new of these events ourselves from her. I have a pathway to contact the Summer Queen and ask ourselves a few questions. If you would be willing, and if the court would allow, we may do that within their presence and learn what we can. You may prove who you are, or if you should care to use these questions for your own interests, that in itself will tell us something of your purpose.
I welcome the opportunity.
She kind of turns to the group. Phaon nods, Dameron nods, and then Keen and Elisar both begrudgingly sit back and say, well, would you prefer to do it now, or shall we continue discussing first? And Laurel looks to you.
I would rather do it now. I just waited an hour to talk to you guys for 2 minutes.
Very well. Laurel, you have the floor. She steps forward with a mischievous little smile and looks to the rest of your group and says, as she kind of pulls Valentine up onto this like raised, kind of only slightly raised pedestal, a little bit of a lectern, and kind of stands across from you, linking hands and looking into your eyes. And she kind of looks back to the rest of the group for a second and says, you may wish to take a step back. There can be some kickback. She grasps your hands and looks into your eyes and casts a spell. that I have to look up the specifics.
You die.
What
Cuts
is it
into
called?
your entrails and rips them out.
Everyone watches in horrible astonishment.
Is this part of it?
She begins. She begins speaking in a language that is both arcane and also rooted in Elvish. It seems like a recognizable language. It is their words, but then they're laced with arcane power. And she continues this, and it takes a full minute to go through the act of finishing these arcane words. But as she has your hand linked, Valentine, you feel this vibration of power, and you feel a warmth growing between the two of you, and between your eyes, up in like where your third eye would be, up in your forehead, you feel this warmth begin to grow. And almost like you can see energy gathering between you and between Laurel Vial, and between the two of you from this third eye. This connection begins to kind of grow between you. Visually, to the rest of you, you see like a slight arcane like pull from their foreheads and grow into this glittering, glowing, golden light between the two of them. And as the minute commences and the last arcane word finishes, that light ignites bright like a blazing sun. The rest of you shield your eyes, as Valentine, you are blind to it. And the two of you and Laurel almost vacate your bodies in this astral sense and are witness to the Summer Queen. You see in a faint kind of like looking through like a crystal ball or through a mirror into this sprawling garden, and you see her form gossamer and golden, and it's difficult to even make out her features. They're so vibrant, but you recognize your patron. You guys have 5 questions between you, and she says, take the lead.
Thank you. I'll bend the knee, give a little kneel.
Nice.
Hey, sorry to disturb you. Just we have to prove ourselves here. I'll just cut to the chase. Have I been a loyal follower of yours on a path to become your champion?
She smiles warmly, and all of you in the room, including the elders, hear this sing-song voice of this goddess say yes. Laurel at this point too says, the answers can be only short, unfortunately. Yes, no, maybe, irrelevant, unclear. In some cases, she may provide us with a little bit more, should they be more intriguing questions. But unfortunately, there's a little bit of limitation.
It's okay. Did you have a question you wanted to ask, or do you just want me to keep flowing here?
I'd like to see where you take this next.
Okay. Is the Doob Katha here impacting the Veil?
You see her kind of quizzically try to find the words, and as the limitation of the spell doesn't come up with an exact answer, and you feel warmth kind of grow, and she says, in a way.
What else would she know? Are the current threats we've witnessed tied to him?
Almost immediately, she says, "Indeed."
Tight. Are we trustworthy when we say we wish to defeat him?
Absolutely. Laurel pauses for just a moment, like holding your hand, just kind of squeezes it, and says, "I do have one question if you are okay."
Please.
She looks, though she, in the same way you can't, you no longer see the court, you just see the Summer Queen and Laurel in this kind of astral projected way. You see her look out away from you and away from the Summer Queen, and in the room you all see her look towards the court themselves, towards Elisar, towards Phaon, towards Keen and Dameron, and she asks the Summer Queen, "Is Sylvanas safe?" And the Summer Queen says, "No longer." And the light just, if there were windows, they would shatter, but there's not. And it blasts around the room as the energy fades. Val, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh shit! You know I'm not good at intelligence. Oh wow, good dice tonight. I've just jinxed myself. 17.
Perfect. You see, you feel as the connection fades, that energy that was coming forth from both of your foreheads revert and impact your third eye and in through your brain and rattle you. And you imagine, if you were not as wise as you are, there's a chance that could have gone very poorly for your mind. But you've spoken with the Summer Queen before, and it is less impactful than it could have been, thankfully. And you see Laurel kind of shake her head for a moment, wincing ever so slightly. She says, "I believe their position is more than stated. I think it's time we give them a proper floor to speak, Elisar." And she returns to her seat.
Little clarification. Did she say Sylvanas?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay. Like the champion of the Fae, something. All right. Cool.
Elisar, as she returns to her seat, nods.
Valentine will look at Mary at that name and then look back.
He nods and says, "My apologies to your troop and to the Summer Queens chosen within our midst. It is not very often, nor ever, truthfully, we have outsiders seeking our aid and seeking admittance within our borders. It has been a long time since these discussions have even taken place within our own midst. For we know the darkness in the hearts of men and dwarves, the beasts of shadow and flame beyond. We fear that were they to take root in these woods, those wicked fires would spread. It would only leave the vale in shadow and ash. We have protected these lands for hundreds of years and watched many like yourselves come with tales and found nothing but pain for our people. I apologize. I will do better."
We understand the need to keep your people safe. But unfortunately, with what we've witnessed, if nothing is done, that pain is coming to you regardless of who you allow on your borders.
So to that end, we can return to the discussion of what should be done here with the Duke Cartha and apparently with a champion of the Vale. Or we could turn to discussion of threats that you claim are grander.
Well, perhaps it's worth discussing the one that's right in front of our faces now, with the promise that we could return to our grander problem after it's completed.
Of course, these discussions will happen. Just a matter in which you wish to approach.
You mentioned Sylvanus. Are we able to talk about him? We know that name and we know the weight it carries.
There's kind of a tense look around the room for a moment. And Laurel looks around and speaks up and says, "You know of Sylvanus, and I recognize at least 2 of the relics of the Fatesworn upon your party within your midst. It is not a stretch to assume you understand the importance of Sylvanus and his role that he has taken to play in the several hundred years of protection he has provided these woods and the realm. It is with a bead of regret in my own heart that the warnings the Summer Queen had bestowed upon me were not acted upon," and she has a little dig towards the rest of the troop here.
I like this look.
And says, regarding Sylvanus, it has been a very long time since he has been seen outside of Gallifrey, where he resides. It has been a very long time since he has had need of others and has simply taken a back seat in guarding the Vale from afar, watching over all of us and the Fey Crossing to which Gallifrey is privy to. However, as I said, the Summer Queen gave me warning, gave me pause to Sylvanus' well-being, and it was too late for us to reach out before these events began to occur. They seemed to be in response to our dismantling and destruction of these blighted groves, these gloom crossings. When we sought to bring light to the darkness, it only struck back harder and faster. And then apparently seems to have struck one of our own. If you have any insights into Sylvanus and anything you have to offer, I fear it may be too late, but it's worth discussing.
I mean, there's no point in pulling weeds if you don't get the whole root out. This shit's gonna keep happening. We did intend to at least come speak with Sylvanus. We have a couple people we've spoken to who have given us bare bones, but admittedly, we don't know a huge amount about him, other than where to start.
Counterpoint. Forests need balance. Groups need balance. Quick glance at Hondo and Gordon. Perhaps overstepping your bounds. We don't know if it was through communication with the Summer Queen or just simple conversation among my talented friends here, but the Seelie Court and Unseelie Court need to be in balance, or else, like you mentioned, if one reaches too far, the other strikes back even farther. So Our group is good at bringing balance to chaos, or chaos to balance, whichever the need arises.
You see Elisar kind of, his head has been down since Laurel has kind of stripped him a bit. But he looks back up and says, "It was my decision. Though we agreed upon it, it was my insistence upon the destruction of these dark spaces, with the intent of making the veil grander, more beautiful, as a offering to the Summer Queen and to the Wild Mother. However, as you state, balance is more important than beauty, more important than I had foreseen. I see my failings so plainly when put in these terms. Perhaps to your emissary's point, reconciliation between our lands may be of utmost benefit to us all, to put into balance the realm and not just our own home.
I couldn't agree more, and I think we'll prove it to you by ridding the forest of the Duke Gatha and restoring balance here.
If that is your goal, as we have you within our midst, as Summer Queen's chosen, it would behoove us to see within you some quality of valor that she has seen. And that valor, I suppose, will be the scales upon which your group shall be measured within ours. The source of this winter's bite has danced along the fringes of our reach, jabbed and bit at a distance, but now seems to have made a fatal move. It would seem, according to scouts and according to confirmation today, this darkness we speak of enshrouds our sacred site of Gallifrey. They have done something with our champion, and I hope, though that hope dwindles quickly, that he may still live. If we may charge your troop, finding this source of power, dealing with it, however the Summer Queen sees fit, and likewise retrieving our champion from whatever fate, returning them here. If you come back victorious, we will honor your stay within the Veil, grant you your free passage, and begin at least our discussions internally. It will take some time of reconciliation. Should you come back in failure, or not come back at all? Well, perhaps we leave that for later discussion.
That doesn't sound like a reward.
Well, the reward is your free passage. The reward is allowing you to continue as you wish. Freedom is its own reward.
I start just towards Honda's direction.
I just make a disgusted feeling.
I'll look at Francis and just kind of shoot him a small smile.
He's been beaming for the last little while. He's very pleased with how this has gone. Elisar kind of continues and just says, "You must understand that you may have been privy to the undertakings of evil beyond our borders, and we thank you for the warning you have provided us. These threats that persist are something we need to see to, or at the very least aid those who can," and he kind of looks across you. Should we see any signs of their undertakings at our borders, we will deal with them as we have for hundreds of years, by the will of the Wild Mother and the strength of our Fey-touched peoples. As of now, I would have you handle that which we can see before us. Perhaps do us this deed, and we may speak of things that hopefully will never come to pass. We've turned a long time ago from being concerned with the strength of the realm at large and focusing on what we can care for our people. It has long been discussion amongst us that to send our people to war for another nation who've done us nothing but harm is folly, and you must see that. But you are not fools. Though you may be young, you may be naive. You have strong hearts. That much is clear. These cataclysmic events, though, we've seen war come and go. We've seen tyrants rise and fall, beasts and dragons reign supreme, and yet still we remain. One day I hope we will come to understand together that which we have understood for many years. Not every fight is yours to take on. The fate of the world may be predestined. The fate of those you love, those you care for. That is in your hands to shape, here and now. But there seems to be no time to waste with our current predicament. With every passing moment, the light is siphoned from Gallifrey. We have felt its power wane already. Should it be fully extinguished, then our way of life will never be the same. He stands, and the rest of the council stands in unison with him. You see Phaon kind of smiling at this discovery. Laurel is also smiling, kind of staring at Valentine and just like watching him over. Dameron is very pleased and looking at you all. Keen beside Elisar has not really made a smile. She's pretty not into this side of things, how things have gone, very clearly. But Elisar looks you all over and says, "Prove to us and prove to her that you are all worthy of what you claim. We will honor our agreement."
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we will come back here with Sylvanas. And we'll have that second conversation.
In the meantime, he kind of looks over to Francis for a moment and says, "I assume you are not the adventuring type, my friend." He says, "No, not particularly." He says, "If it would please your group, the emissary and his aide may stay within our city here. Take time, rest, and pray alongside us that you all recover and return swiftly, if that is in agreement with your group."
We'd appreciate it.
100%. Grant's coming though, right?
Grant just, yeah. Oh, no.
You should stay.
I will. Francis looks incredibly pleased with how all of this has gone. And Elisar and Keen nod their heads, and they begin to exit. The door is opening as Andel and Shara stand on the exterior. They begin to make their way away, taking Francis with them, and they, Valentine and Merritt, while you all hear them speaking in Elvish immediately, but the two of you pick up that they just begin speaking of where they can stay. Francis wants to know, like, where can he learn about the history, just starts talking about, like, how can I learn as much as I can, as quickly as I can.
I mean, that's something that I was going to ask about too. Is there a source of knowledge, a library, something we can try to get as much information regarding where we're going?
Elisar and Keen begin to leave. Phaon kind of looks, he walks up to your group, gives a nod, and then walks out as Dameron and Laurel approach and says, "We'll be happy to escort you as far as the borders of Endora, and we can set you along the path to Gallifrey. whenever you're prepared.
Time of day is it? Like, we got here in the morning, right?
You guys got here like early mid-morning. It is now kind of mid-afternoon. Like, you imagine you probably have, if you were to set off right now, you could get the majority of a full day's travel in at a quick pace, and start making your way there, where to along your path. But if you were to want to stay the night, you could wait until the morning. But it is like mid-afternoon.
I say we go now. Let me just look this up. I'll ask Laurel or Dameron. I know this sounds like a strange request, but is there any diamonds here that are like a lot or big? It's a way we can bring back someone if they've just recently died. And in our last fight, we had to do that when we fought against the Winter Hag, and we're all out now.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Oof, it's a 20 or it's an 8, so I have to re-roll this one. And it's a 19!
Yay!
Good dice! I'm not going to say it. It's a lot. It's 34.
The two of them look to one another, and they both share a look for a moment, and then it's a long moment, and you're like wondering, they're just looking at each other. What are they doing? And Dameron eventually just ugh, and she goes off on her own. And Laura looks back to you and says, Keen is our keeper of those such things. But Dameron can likely swindle something out of her.
Okay.
But we should be able to get you something.
We really appreciate that.
I understand the loss in battle can be incredibly difficult, but those of you who have the abilities to return life, that is a grand deed.
Only through her magic.
I'd have it no other way.
That's Valentine is ready to rock. He is ready to go, but if you guys need to do anything else, what do you guys want to do? Have a big meal?
Shop?
You could ask. Ask. I'm gonna go to the bathroom while you ask.
I'm gonna ask if I could find a specific item.
Sure. You ask about any kind of shopping, and Laurel she looks you up and down just for a moment, just gauging who you are and what you appear to be. And she says, unfortunately, friends, our borders are one of secretive nature, and to reach our city is only by invitation and being led here yourselves. We do not have much in the way of trade. If you wish to, you could acquire some amazing art pieces. We have some incredible artisans within our midst, but to look for things of the arcane nature is very frowned upon here.
But you are a really magical people, you can whip something up, let's say.
We're magical in that of nature. I stand a little bit more on the arcane side. You have seen Keen. She stands in the divine realm of magic. However, to seek arcane magic within our midst is not so looked on fondly. To look for them would be more towards the Noldor Enclave. They are the arcane elves within our borders.
Very well.
I apologize, but you seem as if you are quite well endowed with magical items. You bear an amazing blade in your hand. Whisper is an incredible thing to hold.
It is my best friend.
There's a lot of innuendo here.
Hey.
Oh, love.
Have you seen much battle with it?
let's say it's killed a few people for sure. It's been used against me, and it's been stolen. It's had quite the story.
She kind of just like quizzically, just like, that indeed is quite the story. I'm intrigued.
He's a great swordsman. Oh, God.
Valentine chokes on spit. Or just on trying to compliment Hondo and how foreign that is. Dameron at this point returns with a small pouch, and she hands it across to Valentine and says, "This was not easily acquired. Keen is not one keen to give away such things. But given your position and a little bit of encouragement, we were able to make this happen for you. You feel within a diamond of 500 gold worth as you quickly kind of look it over, and a smaller one of 100.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Again, not to be insistful in any manner, but would you wish to be setting off, or do you need to accomplish anything before? We'll just go along with you wherever it is you're going before we show you the way.
I'm ready to go, if you guys are. Oh, no?
I'm ready.
Mary?
We are consistently running on a clock, so the sooner the better.
Brawley, should we get Keith?
Yeah. Do I want to put him through more danger?
Do we want to see what it's like for him? And we can make the call when we see where he's living right now?
Yeah, maybe. I don't want to drag him into anything. He's already been through enough.
We're going somewhere real scary, so maybe it is smart to leave him.
Yeah. He's probably made new friends here anyway. I'll at least go say bye to him before we go and tell him we'll be back.
Okay. Lav, are you good? Do you need to do anything here?
Cameron kind of walks over and puts a hand on Allie's shoulder as she's thinking about Keith.
It's so hard raising small animals.
He's not so small, but I understand the intent.
I just want what's best for him.
He's hardy. I wouldn't be too worried.
He's about to get a little bit hardier.
Well, very likely, yes.
Probably.
And don't let him meet you at a house and home.
He will.
He will. You watch.
We will see to that he is well fed, but not too well fed.
Thank you.
Did you say 200 gold for the smaller one or 100 gold?
100. 100 for the small, so 600 total, but 500 in a single and 100 in the other. It's like a smaller little bead.
Got it.
But the two elders begin to lead you back at least down to the main city level, and kind of begin to lead you through back down the elevated vine kind of thing and down to the main stairs, and they lead you in within the actual tree itself, which has been like this. You see this like tunnel has been cut away, this arched tunnel, and you can see like this light kind of like veined through the wood itself, but on the interior you see kind of a hollowed interior of this tree, and it's massive and well carved and is rather beautiful, but there is a stable and paddock where you see a couple of barnyard like animals, and Keith in the midst of about a half dozen other smaller goats that are kind of jumping up on him like regular sized goats, that are just climbing up all on him, and then they jump and flip off and jump and run around. Keith seems very happily munching away on some good looking food.
Yay. Okay, so I'm just gonna go up to him and just kind of relay that we have to go, but I'll be back for him and he's safe, and I just want to keep him safe at this point.
He is not particularly happy, but he looks from you and then looks back at the food and like nuzzles you, and then takes a big munch of food and then just kind of returns to just eating.
He's sad eating now.
A little bit, yeah. He's gonna double down.
I grab his face and I nuzzle him. I go, "Enjoy, sweet boy. Just enjoy this moment, okay? You don't know when you're gonna get it again."
And he returns to eating as Dameron leads you back to the group. Laurel, in this meantime, has kind of been speaking to Valentine and just saying, "The Summer Queen has told me a fair bit about you, Valentine. You seem to have achieved great deeds under her light, had adventures far-reaching across the plains. I admit I'm a tad envious."
Yeah, I always wanted to be important as a kid. Just wanted to be, looked at with renown instead of looked at in disgust or fear. And I almost regret wishing that now. But I am grateful that she watches over me.
I hardly think anyone is going to be looking at you in fear. You're rather nice to look at.
I once made a guy chomp off his own tongue by accident, so that didn't really go over well back in my hometown.
I mean, I've literally set a man on fire. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
In the heat of battle, that's the way it goes.
But I truly couldn't have done it without my friends, especially my best friend, Gord. Isn't that right, Gord?
Absolutely.
Hey, there he is.
She looks at Gord and says, "It has been long since a tabaxi has graced our woods. I truly apologize for what has befallen your people in Mastika. It's a travesty."
No problem.
But she looks back to Valentine and she says, "She spoke very highly of you, I would say. You should be proud, or perhaps concerned. An archfey of her power having such interest in a mortal man. There have been some tales."
Ooh.
I have terrible luck with anything romantic, so I don't think that's in the cards for me.
Well, that luck may be changing.
I was just about to ask if she looked like she was into it.
At this point, Dameron and Alana return to your group, and you guys are all reunited once more, and Dameron says, "If you're set to depart, we've had our sorrowful goodbyes. If you guys are ready."
Yep. Yeah, we just had a great chat right now, so ready to go. Right, Brawley?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think so. You know what it is? And
What?
don't ever tell him I would say this, but
Okay.
I'm always afraid I'm never gonna come back to him.
I promise you will. You'll always come back to him. Hondo, I would never promise that to you. But you, I can safely make that promise.
I hope so. Just for him. I don't know what he would do without me.
Well, Laugh
None of
has
us would ever let anything serious happen to you.
Oh, thanks.
Lav has great luck with all horse kind, so she'd do real well with them.
I think I need to get a cat or something. I heard they had more than one life.
Supposedly 9.
I just kind of glance over at Gord.
You guys are being led back down the same path you came in a few hours previous, and so quickly to do such a quick trip into this kind of hidden city and back out again. It is a little sad to be going, but you have a ticking clock to contend with. You begin crossing the bridge out to the other side, and both Laurel and Dameron are in kind of quiet discussion between the two of them. It seems a little hushed, not necessarily hiding from you guys, but they are cautiously looking at who is watching as they make their way past, leading you all past the guards at the other end of the bridge, and out back into the Vale proper, outside back on a kind of horseshoe, and they begin leading you basically back the way you came, towards the north. At this point, it's maybe 15 minutes of travel outside before they turn, and Laurel kind of looks to your group at large and says, we specifically wanted to lead you and show you the way. As much as our communication went very well today between your group and our council, I was a little shocked at how well it went, truth be told. We may have some information that could interest you, or indeed help you on your quest, beyond this venture alone, that we were hesitant, shall we say, to share with the full council as of yet.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, and did we lose Kev, or did you just turn camera off?
I think we lost him.
I think we lost him.
Okay, hang on.
Hold, please. It was a good little cut.
Wait, there we go.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. Yep. All good? All good.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Scott, cut here.
We're definitely interested in any knowledge that would aid us.
They continue leading you at a slower pace along the edges of this horseshoe, looking out over to Endora. Dameron at this point speaks, Laurel. She says, you spoke of this formidable foe, this Revenant Vow. We've heard. The one's imbued with the powers of the Nine and of Asmodeus himself. I fear, as I said, our leaders are not as worried as they should be of this threat. They are proud to say we have fared well over the last few centuries as war has been waged beyond our borders. We have been well insulated to their effects. However, Asmodeus and his hellhounds are less concerned of borders, and his minions would surely rage the realm as a whole, care not for what lies in its path. Would you say the Revenant Vow have shown particular interest in where they strike, or what their focus, should they be successful, would be?
Mary, you might be able to speak to this better, but it feels like they've been targeting portals, gates to the other planes. They've been trying to break the seals in particular, like 4 seals of hell, but we've found most of their activity gathering gate gems at particular like waypoints across Vesaria.
As you speak up, the two of them share like a nod together, and Dameron says, we know of a gate. At least we believe we know of a gate. We know not for sure, but there has long been word of an ancient site of power within the borders of the Noldor Enclave. They are a secretive and powerful sect of our Valenwood tribes. They embrace the arcane, where many of our people shun its power as evil. And there is a doorway. If there is a doorway, it would indeed be ancient, and perhaps would explain why those who first settled the Noldor Enclave turned from the natural order and embraced the arcane. As Laurel has informed me, it can indeed be more powerful when harnessed properly, and perhaps that is what they need to shroud its existence, or even to try and destroy it.
Kyle, I don't actually have the map, but I know we kind of have the map. Was there a symbol that was confirmed or guessed in the Vale outside of the Feywild? Like, I know we thought there was probably a Feywild one, but I just can't remember because I can't remember what was on the map.
There was a symbol of the Nine, but it was question mark and kind of circled largely around the Vale. It seemed like it was, as you pull all the maps out to confirm, it seemed like there was a solid understanding that it would have been here, but where within the borders of the Vale was unsure. At least to
That guy.
to Raymond at the time, and to the guys who had that map.
I'll kind of like show, maybe not that map, maybe just like our regular map, and just ask them to point out where this area is, like how far in the borders, or is it on the edge where like potentially an outsider could get to more easily?
Dameron looks at your map and shows, like, she kind of circles with her finger a section in the south east. There is a, she says, there to the south of the Sylvan, along the eastern coast, there's a city where the majority of the Noldor reside. It's called Thaluna. They are a small tribe, but powerful. Do not underestimate that. Thaluna would be, I suppose, their capital.
Are they as wary of outsiders as what we've experienced so far?
Yes and no. Wary in the ways that they are fearful of outside influence and of taking advantage of their power and of the Vale itself. They have the same beliefs as us, as keeping protected, though we've long suspected for more reasons than that.
How widespread is the knowledge of this connection of arcane power? Yes.
We speak in hushed tones for a specific reason. It has been more a story and a rumor out of the Noldor. It is not widely known.
Well,
Could I
hopefully-
take out, while they're talking, can I take out the gate gem compass, one of them? And I'll just like take a little glance at it.
It doesn't seem to give you any direct direction. It kind of is just very slowly just spinning. It doesn't seem to catch anything as you quickly take a look.
Yeah,
Could I
I'll just
do-
pocket it.
Could I do an investigation check to see if there's anyone listening in or snooping?
Sure, do a perception for that.
Perception.
Snoopy Snooperson.
It's okay.
What do you add to that?
What's your perception?
I think
Roll
10,
14?
10 or 12, right?
It's high, yeah. It's above 20.
That's 12, so 26.
You look around as this conversation is kind of happening, and you guys are kind of moving slowly through the woods as having this conversation. And you keep a keen ear and a keen eye looking across the city and then around the woods around you, and you're pretty confident it's just you guys out here. You don't see anybody or hear anything untoward. Dameron,
We appreciate you entrusting us with this. We understand how difficult it is.
as I say, we are less bullish as the rest of the council in this one for us alone and forget the rest. A word of caution, though, should you make your way there in time. It is perhaps not wise to outright ask about gates or ancient sites of power. They will likely not respond kindly, but to work your way around may be wise.
While we're on the subject, though, we're moving towards Galifar and the Everlay Tree, and there was talk that it's a potential gate in itself to the Sealy Court. Do I have that wrong?
Only slightly. It is indeed a doorway to the Feywild. It is... Galifar and Endora, both the trees are of the Everlight. They are of the Wild Mother and of the Summer Queen as beacons of both within our borders. While Endora here stands as our beacon to the Wild Mother, Gallifrey is the beacon to the Fae. Both provide power and nourishment and light to the forest and enrich the soil and grant our people power and knowledge. But Gallifrey herself is a literal doorway and beacon to the Feywild itself, allowing, in part, the Fae's presence to touch our forest and grant it its peculiar ways. In fairness, it is partially what becomes these gloom crossings and blighted groves, admittedly, but as you say, balance in all things. It's the way of life. Gallifrey does stand a little less than a day's journey due west of right here, as they kind of come to a stop. It's difficult to miss the Everlight itself, though I don't know what you'll expect leading up to it, should this darkness have enshrouded it in some way. Our scouts were a little lost in their description, but something dark is definitely enshrouded there. You will know you're close when you feel the presence of the Fae all around you. It can be overwhelming for those of you without its ancestry in your blood, so be mindful. But they kind of point due west of this position and says, should only be a few hours west, should you make it to Gallifrey.
All right, Wildcards, let's do it. Dameron, Laurel, thank you so much for this. And we'll see you soon.
Laurel, before you go, a last word of caution to all of you. Should your journey take you beyond the borders of this realm and into the Fae, be conscious of time. While some may have passed beyond our world and into the light of the Feywild, and upon their return, what felt like days was mere minutes to us, though in some worst cases, what felt like hours turned into years. For a people like us, it is a blessing to be swept up in time in the light of the Summer Queen, but straying too far from the path for too long, you may lose your way in more way than one.
Thank you. We appreciate that advice.
Be careful. Travel swift. And she kind of reaches up and gives you a little peck on the cheek. And then
I blush.
and then steps back, and they both give you a nod and begin to walk back the path to the to Endora. And we'll take a quick break there. So, picking back up, you guys are given the path, given a direction to head back into the Vale. But one, I need a marching order from you. And two, whoever is leading said marching order, leading the charge, I need to make a check as they go forward.
Boy. Should I do it? I'll do it. Yes, Hondo, do it. Let the blame be on you.
No one.
Hondo is first. Who's behind Hondo?
I will be.
Let's put Val and Fern.
Yes.
Riding Fern or just
I will be on top of Fern.
Okay. Next.
I can go after.
Get Allie.
I'll go after her.
Lavender.
We have the carpet too if we want someone on the carpet.
Oh, yeah.
Carpet's still kicking in one of the bag of holdings.
Bad memories on that.
What if you're piloting it
I've been
instead of Hondo?
stabbed.
Thrown from it.
Thrown from it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gord in the back, Mary next.
Sure.
Mary and Gord.
Yeah, you've been murdered on that carpet.
Literally died. And fallen into a deep scar in the world.
Yeah. Happens to everybody, you know.
That's what I'm loving.
In that case, Hondo out front, I need you to either make a nature or survival check. And you can do so with advantage for this one, as you are given the direction from Dameron and
Survival.
All right. So D20, roll 2, take the best. Not
11.
bad. Not bad. 11. Worse, only but slightly.
10.
So 15.
Okay, great. So, for the first hour, you guys begin following as Hondo leads the charge due west. And Hondo, as you are the most skilled captain, your natural compass guides you very well, heading due west from this point. That's your goal. You guys travel for the first hour, and the forest responds very favorably to you. It seems to provide you a path, and anytime you need to make a turn and move around a tree that is a thicket that is too thick to pass, or a large grouping of rocks, there is some like semi-mountainous terrain through this a little bit more jungle-like terrain here, but you pass for the first hour comfortably. It is warm, but not overly so, as you make your way 1 hour into the Vale, a little after mid-afternoon, pushing into like 1 to 2 o'clock. But you still have some more time to go. Hondo, if you want to make another nature or survival check, this time no advantage, a straight roll. So 12 plus what?
16.
That is another success. A second hour, Hondo leads the charge again, just continually following that internal compass due west. And again, you kind of trek through this jungle terrain at a comfortable pace. I should ask, actually, you guys have technically traveled 2 hours already, but are you traveling at a quick pace, a slow pace? So like a slow would be being stealthily. Quick would just be literal, like as quick as you can, no stealth. And a normal pace would be you're not stealthing, but you would have the chance to perceive things a little before, if you were to run into something.
I was thinking normal. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That sound good?
So not specifically stealthing through and being quiet and careful, but just a regular pace. Totally fine.
I will say 2 hours in, I'll turn to the group and be like, Laurel did warn us that the closer we get, we would know we're close when it starts to act like the Feywild. And I mean, when we were in the Abyss, Lav, you weren't there for that, but we were tricked off the path. Things were manipulating our minds, and from some of our dealings with Fey stuff, similar situations could abound. So let's just be on high alert. Don't wander off the path. Just stay with the group. And let's just get here safe.
With Valentine's warning at the end of this second well-traveled hour, Hondo's still in the lead. If you'd like to make another nature or survival check, in this case, that's survival. No,
I trust you, Hondo, to get us here safely, and I'll inspire you.
The only thing I'll say about that, Scott, in this case, it's like an hour-long check. So
that's tough to inspire.
Just as a DM, I'm going to restrict the inspiration for that, because it's something that happens in the next couple minutes, whereas this is over an hour he does this.
That totally makes sense.
Sorry, but
that's okay.
So what's your total, Kev?
11.
11. You should have had that inspiration, unfortunately. Unfortunately, your natural compass begins to fail you ever so slightly, and you don't end up in a sudden dark thicket with no preparation. But you can tell an hour goes by and the path doesn't seem to be responding favorably. It doesn't seem to be opening up to you any longer. And unfortunately, there's no obvious way to go forward, and you feel like you've gone further north or maybe south. You're not right on the path anymore. At this point, Hondo can no longer take the point. He can no longer be in the lead. Someone else must
I like
step
this. I'll move in.
So we'll swap the two of you guys. Put Val on Fern ahead. Hondo just take second position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that case, Valentine, make a nature or survival check. However, you can also add your charisma to the roll.
Sick. Hell yeah. I'll do survival.
Okay.
It's real bad. So 8 plus 5 is 13.
That'll do. Valentine, as you take the new helm of this journey, you pause a moment before you set off, and you recall how you were told to pass through these woods best, and it is to do so with the trust of your Fey ancestry and the light of the Summer Queen guiding you and leading you forward. So with that in mind, you just almost close your eyes and feel for the right path, and it is laid bare before you as you open your eyes again. The woods almost just fall away, revealing a comfortable, safe path through the woods. And you pass for another hour, writing the course, heading back on a western trajectory. I need another one from you.
Exact same roll, so what did I say? 13? 13.
13. That'll, again, continue forward.
Jesus.
You still feel that connection, and indeed you do continually see the path fall before you, and you feel right, like it just feels like you're on the right path almost just naturally. You can feel a connection to this forest, you can feel a connection to the world around you, and indeed you do pass another hour along the right path. I do need one more check.
Come on, baby.
Well, in that last hour, can I try to look? Did you get a natural 20 or a 1?
Natural 19.
Okay.
Ooh, that's pretty good. I'm going to try to look around as we get further and further in the day and see if there's anything, like even creatures or birds or anything watching us that doesn't look like normal forest things.
Crows, perhaps.
Throw a
Something
perception
like that.
check for this, what would be the 5th hour.
I rolled terrible.
Or, no, that would be the 6th hour.
I rolled really bad. 9.
It is indeed difficult to make out anything as you are... you're constantly traveling, and as stated, you're traveling at a relatively quick pace. Like, you're not running, but you're moving with haste. You're moving, and you have to focus on your footing because the path, while it does open before you, there are constant roots that rise up and low-lying brush that kind of sweeps out into the path, and vines that you have to keep mind of, and rock outcroppings that you need to make your way up and around, up and over even in some cases. So keeping an eye for like something very close. Every now and again you hear the flutter of a bird, and you hear lots of natural sounds around the forest. It is not silent. You definitely hear birds and natural fauna kind of doing their thing off in the distance, but nothing immediately comes across as intriguing to you or something to focus on. But with that check, I'm sorry, I need one more. One last check to push.
No problem. Hmm. 12 plus 5 plus 5, so 22.
The 7th hour of your journey passes, and you feel you still have some energy left in your day of travel, though the day is growing weary. The sun is setting for sure, and you can feel the temperature cool naturally. However, over the hour, the temperature begins to lower, and darkness grows longer and deeper than should be natural. And at one point, it's like slipping into a cool lake of clear water as you feel the temperature and atmosphere of the woods thicken and wrap around you. You feel a transition, and suddenly all sounds of nature seem to dull and fade. You hear the odd crack in the darkness of scraggly trees and bramble thickets, that suddenly any sound feels like an eruption in your ears. You do, in fact, hear a caw of some distant crow that immediately snaps your attention directly back on the path as you push forward. It's a fair ways off, but still, the fear wells up in the pit of your stomach. Over another 15, 20 minutes of this last hour-long trek, you begin to hear sounds of something large, not directly ahead, but ahead and a ways off to what would be your north. Something large, maybe two things large, lumbering footsteps and some loud guttural grunts, almost like argument within a language of grunting. And it's maybe 100 feet ahead and to your northwest. But it catches all of your attention.
Is it pretty much nighttime now?
It is not quite nighttime, but it is setting in fast.
What do you guys want to do? Do you want?
And sorry, I should say, it does seem like it should be. It's darker than it should be for the time.
I could go up on Fern and take a look, or Hondo, you could try and sneak close and see what you see. Hondo and Mary, you're both sneaky as hell.
I might do that.
Hondo can 100% keep himself from being seen if he wants.
All right, I have to roll.
You want to stealth forward?
Mm-hmm.
You have invisibility if you want to use it too. It's up to you.
No, I saved that.
But please come back before you do anything drastic.
Boom!
Yeah.
Oh, nat 20!
Hondo slinks away from the group, and within a matter of moments, he is gone from sight. Silently and without a word, Hondo, you continue forward, picking the shadows, and very carefully, each step you find a root. You don't even step on leaves and branches. You find solid footing with every footstep. Very careful not to leave any sound behind as your boots each catch silent purchase. Throw a perception check for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think still plus 12, you said, so 25. It's a lot. You see the forest ahead at this point, maybe about 20, 30 feet ahead of you. It spreads out, and you have dark vision as well. And you can see it definitely is very dark in these woods now. Darker than the time would permit necessarily. It seems like a somewhat supernatural darkness. And you can see there is more room between the trees now, less of a singular path, and now more of an open forest landscape, singular trees dotted with large space between. You can see that there are two large lumbering figures batting at something hanging from a tree, while the other comes across and smacks him on the head, and they argue in a language you are unfamiliar with, and it's almost guttural more so than language. But you watch the two of them argue, and one of them, as one walks away, the other takes a bite out of this thing that's hanging from a tree, and each. And he begins kind of lumbering after the other one. They look familiar. They look like those creatures that you fought at the lake.
Ooh.
These demented, half-giant creatures, these large creatures, but demented in the one weird cursed eye. And they both carry these clubs behind them. And they begin to make their way off out of your vision and into the darkness beyond. But you see the strung up figure still swaying in the tree ahead, limply, unmoving of its own volition. What do you do?
I'm gonna follow them a bit.
Mm.
I'll carry you rolled the natural 20, so I'll carry the stealth forward. You make your way that 30 feet to where they were, and follow suit. And you see they're lumbering ahead. They're not moving quickly. You can catch them. You can catch up to the space before they are, they're 20, 30 feet ahead of you, so as not to immediately alert them that you're on their back. And there are two of them. But they seem unconcerned. They seem just like kind of aimlessly walking through. And as you get closer to this space, you look up and you can see this small figure strung up, hanging from a tree. It looks long dead, gray in the face, young. And as you look up into this, you look up along the trees and you can see another about 10 feet off. And then beyond that, you see another, and then another. And towards where the giants are headed, you see another two. There seem several individuals, figures hung around these trees.
First of all, would I recognize any of these people?
Make an investigation check on the one that you are directly by.
Okay.
Okay. Plus investigation.
My investigation is 4. Let me check. Oh, no, it's 11. Sorry. So that's 25.
You look at the figure, and they're hanging a little higher than you stand at your full height. Their feet are kind of dangling right about your head height. So getting a very close look at the face is difficult. However, you kind of steady them. And as you kind of reach up just to touch to try and hold them in place, you can feel the exterior of their clothes is still cold to the touch, and it almost like frostbite burns as you hold just to keep them in place. You're resistant, so it deals you no damage anyway, but you just recognize the feeling. They don't look familiar, though it looks young and elven. And you're not sure if it was a face you recognized from Auvergne or if perhaps someone who just looks similar, but this appears to be a young elven girl. That's all you can really tell. She's wearing similar clothes to that of the people of Auvergne were wearing, but it seems kind of just like traditional, like villager garb.
I'm going to message on the pearl.
On the earring, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, you might want to come and see this. Be quiet, but there's dead people that I did not kill here.
I
love
look at
that he had to
Mary.
preface that he did not kill them.
Look at Mary like, did he though? Did he? Okay, yeah, stay put. We're on our way. Hondo said there's dead things up ahead and we should move up.
Like my horse that I had there?
Might be, I'm not sure the kind of death. So I don't know if it's frozen death. I think he said hanging death. I'm not sure.
Let's have everyone roll stealth checks as you guys make your way forward.
If I was there and I had heard her say the horse, I'd be like, you ate the horse. That clearly meant nothing to you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, shit! So stealth from Mary and Gord.
23.
Mary, did you say 23?
Yep.
Did you roll like a 2? What did you roll?
My stealth's only a plus 10.
Okay.
That's still 10.
We're used to having the insane
That's
numbers.
right. You're right.
Yeah, with the staff, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all used to an extra plus 10.
That staff looks different now.
A little bit. Let's
I
hear Val
rolled
and Lav.
29.
Okay.
16.
I rolled a nat 20 just for transparency.
Tight. Allie
14.
and Gord.
15?
Cool.
Nice. Do you want Fern to roll in?
In this case, it's not going to make a difference. Everyone rolled pretty well.
Okay.
And it seems as Hondo kind of takes position holding down, you don't notice the giants double back towards you, Hondo. And within a short time, your group catches up. Hondo, unless you choose to do otherwise, holding this position, the giants do leave your visual range, but they seem to be going away. to the north.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Everyone
I'll,
comes up at this point.
I'll explain to them that there are giants around here. They have done this. I feel we have a good opportunity to catch them by surprise and kill them before they kill out more.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly thoughtful of you.
I'm open to that. I'm just worried they might sound the alarm just because they're so big. But do we want to follow them a bit closer and then maybe see if there's an opportunity to do that?
We could follow them, yes.
We can see if we can try to get the jump on them. That might be the best. And maybe, if otherwise, we may have to fight these things later.
Yeah, it's true.
Val, can you throw me a survival check with your charisma involved as well?
15 on the dice plus 5 plus 5, so 25.
Yeah, given your last roll as well, and a 25, you know that you're not quite at your destination, but you're on the path, and you can feel the connection as you've gotten closer and closer to this core. That warmth has grown, and it's grown in intensity, and you can almost feel Heartbreaker like responding. You're very close to where you want to go, and it is like due west of this spot.
Is that in the direction that the evil hag giants are going?
The giants have moved north.
Oh, so I'll relay that. The giants are moving not towards where we want to go, so we kind of have to make a choice here.
Leave it.
Leave the giants?
We don't care. We don't know who these people are. They're going away. We keep going.
I like that. I'm okay with it.
My only problem, what time of day is it right now?
It has grown into evening.
We don't want these things, if they're just going out hunting or going out wherever, we don't want them to double back when we're sleeping. I'd rather we try to get the jump on them, make sure that they're not going to follow us back. We know from when we fought them before that they can seriously fuck us up.
You know,
Mary.
it's hunting. It's the circle of life. You know, if they don't bother us, we don't bother them.
This goes very against almost everything.
I don't think that's what the circle of life.
Mary, as you have also made it to this position, you look up at this figure in the tree as you guys are deciding what to do here, and you do in fact recognize this figure as the one of those crows had grabbed up and swept away with. She at least is long dead, but it's just a moment of you look up and you see the face, you recognize her.
Like I wasn't planning on resting. I was planning on us doing this tonight.
Do they tell us how long it was going to take to get to this place?
They said less than a day's travel. Like you guys are, like it's been 6 hours. Like that's a day's travel is typically 8, but you take like more time of like resting. You guys have made less than, a 12 plus hour travel. Like this is you're about at the right time.
I feel like we're really close.
So
Do we want to vote on it?
We're going to go straight into this thing?
That's what I kind of think. As Hondo said, it's a circle of life.
There's no better time. Everybody is rested.
That's also what I think. We could go get eyes on and then decide, do we want to circle back, take out those guys, rest, then do this? Or just do the Hondo the blue way and kick a door in and let the dice decide?
Maybe we don't kick any doors in.
Thank God we're in a forest.
Well, that doesn't mean you can't make a shit ton of noise and draw attention to yourself. Yeah, okay. Maybe if we can avoid a fight with these things, maybe we can, but keep your head on a swivel. If there's 2, there could be many more.
I think there is. We know that the Dupkat was trying to lure me here. This is where he wanted me to go. He was trying to bait me to come here. So we have to keep in mind that we're almost walking into a trap.
We're definitely walking into a trap. Do you remember what happened last time? We specifically walked into what we knew was a trap set by someone for you.
I can't remember which trap you're talking about because I feel like we've done that a couple times.
Last time your father almost murdered us.
Yeah, I remember that one very well.
You're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but it might make the most sense.
I'm so excited.
If it's about burning down the forest.
No. I always advocate burning, but not that's not my point. What we should do is if it's a trap, we don't all go into it. We send 1-2 people to be trapped. The rest go, around or away and do other stuff. But we must not all be trapped.
I will say, in the last trap we walked into, like you're referring to, that was the trap where, as the fight started, Hondo tried to convince a mind flare that he was on its side, and then it started to eat his brain. So
I think it ate some of it.
It surely did, some of the frontal lobe.
I mean, maybe Hondo has a bit of a point here, which is something I never thought I'd say. We do know it's a trap, and from the last they've seen of us, she took out a member. And I was pretty close to there myself. And I know a couple of you have the means to make someone invisible. I don't know if they're going to be able to see through that, but fuck it. You try to be quiet and extra, so if you're invisible, maybe some of us can actually do some reconnaissance around Val, you try to get them talking. At least try to get a better bead of what we're up against before anything happens. This is the plan we try every time and it never works. But you know what? Fuck it. We can try it again.
I can definitely do that. It's my favorite plan.
Last they saw, Gord was down. So I think he's a good option to not be there.
Not be there.
Not be there in finger quotation marks that you couldn't see. Yes.
Lav's pretty sneaky. You're sneaky. Hondo's sneaky. Maybe we make Brawley invisible or something. She goes to the cord. We could even have Brawley on Fern, and I just walk in.
Well, I don't want you to go in alone because he knows that you wouldn't do that. So if you go in, if you are in alone or with one other person, they're going to immediately assume that the rest of us are hiding somewhere. If most of us go in and there's a couple who are not, that could very well be.
Then maybe we do us four, me, you, Mary, Lav, Brawley, and then the pirate twins can be stealthy.
Yeah.
Hondo's literally darkness. He can stealth anywhere.
I was gonna say, we send Valentine with 2 or 3 invisible people, so he's not alone, but he is alone.
Yeah, because we want it to look like a couple people are picked off.
So maybe Hondo and Gord were picked off, quotes, and then us 4 go in, see what happens, and then if we drop the danger code word, it's on.
It's not a bad idea, Hondo, if you guys can try to get and Gord as well. You're both quite perceptive. If you can try to figure out, see anything you can get, any kind of weak spot is a huge, eye in the sky. There's no way that's what's going to happen, but something. See if they have extra hidden enemies, if there's some magic thing they're protecting, if anything, any fucking information is going to be better than going in there completely blind, which we're still kind of doing, but...
This Dupkat is clever, though. Do you remember when we were in Hell, and I forget what was happening, but Gurex or some devil made it as if there was a portal there, and it was actually just an illusion the whole time? And didn't one of us try and run at it or touch it? And it was
I wonder who that was.
Probably me. We have to be real careful that he's not, I don't know, an illusion. He's not invisible. He's not ethereal rather.
What does he want with you?
I think he wants me to betray the Summer Queen. I think his ultimate vengeance is against her. Everything we've heard about him is that she struck his name, that he mentioned his people, that all they wanted was like love or something, or to be, I don't know, but she forbid it, and I think that caused some strife. So I think what he wants is for her champion, someone she really likes and is leading along a path, to be turned against her.
Are you going to play that, or are we not going to bother and we're just going to, disco immediately?
I was going to improvise. I was just going to try and read the room, maybe get him talking. And Hondo, if you see an opportunity or you hear a code word, sneak attack, stabby, stabby, take him down. Let's focus fire. If this is the fight, and who knows, this might not even be the fight, but let's try and focus fire. In the last fight, we just got separated and got picked off. Let's try and stay together, but not grouped up for terrible magic. But at the same time, let's focus our fire. Like if a hag's there, let's focus our fire on her and bring her down, and then work our way to these evil giant things. And don't let one of those giant things look you in the fucking eye, or you'll turn into the monstrosities that Brawley and I did.
We have to separate, if the white woman is there, we have to separate her from those beasts, because it seemed whatever they had worked together.
Gord, last time you encountered one of these things, it ripped open your chest and tried to eat you. Are you sure you're up for this one?
Oh, I got it. Don't you worry about me.
I'm so excited to see what you can do. All right. I was going to say something else. I think that's it.
Anything else big? Anything we should be looking for? Anyone have any big ideas?
I have 2 explosive vials I've hidden in a particular spot in my bag of holding, which we could use.
Maybe you should check. I mean, I lost a couple things on the road.
How would you lose
Are you sure you had 2?
I know I had 2 because I put 2 in my favorite secret pocket right on the inside cover.
You have a secret pocket? I don't think any pocket is really secret if you have a thief on the road.
You're right. You know, it's probably foolish. I won't even look.
Look, I mean, admittedly, this place, I may have been in the bathroom when we were talking about this.
Mary says.
Yeah, Leah is
up in a squat in the woods, you know.
Yeah, all the time, having to pee. Did they say specifically what this place is? Like, it's like a place of power. I'm worried about hurting the place, if that makes sense. If this place is important.
So I don't know if you were there, but they mentioned this is a tree that has a strong connection to the Feywild, and it brings Fey abilities, Fey creatures, just Fey magic, like here. They mentioned that it is a bit of a doorway, a gate to the Feywild. And I don't know if you were here for it, but Leah knows. If you end up in the Feywild, time works in very mysterious ways.
Ooh,
so
yeah,
seconds can be years, or not even a millisecond.
You should probably just not try to go to the Feywild. Because we have 2 weeks until there's another seal, and we can't fuck that up.
But I would like at some point to meet my Summer Queen in person.
For sure. Maybe we do that when we don't have a 2-week time crunch. That could very easily get blinked away in seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
What danger code word do we want to use? We've used panic and disco a lot. Maybe we should mix it up.
Admittedly, disco is slightly difficult to weave into a conversation, but I do kind of like it.
Let's say rah-rah.
What about romance?
It's not panicky.
Not strong enough? It needs to be passionate? Okay.
You don't have passionate romance?
Hondo?
A soft word, I want something fiery, like sexual.
You want sexual to be the word.
Or let's say moist. It's very
Oh, God. Trigger warning. Hondo.
How about cakewalk? Like, cakewalk.
Should we stay with vengeance? Vengeance worked last time.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was so cute though.
You liked it?
The cakewalk?
Oh,
You didn't
Oh.
even
How
you
about
didn't even listen to her at all. You just then went ahead with your own idea.
I don't
No,
like
it's okay.
food.
how about just cake? Let's just say cake.
Mike, again, I don't like food jokes.
Is it a joke to you? Is this all just a joke to you?
All right, guys, we need to.
How about
get moving.
joke?
Joke's interesting. All right, if you hear joke, romance, panic, disco,
No.
Vengeance.
No. One
How
word.
about if someone starts attacking? How about everyone else?
yeah, that's fair. That's
Okay.
someone shouts attack or now or go. These are good code words. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Hondo, Gord, you guys are gonna be sneaky. I don't even know, Gord, if you can be invisible. I'm sure you have spooky shit. So let's do it.
You guys continue setting off in the western direction, leaving behind these now long past, and they don't seem. You don't hear the sounds of the heavy lumbering footsteps of these Fomorians in the distance. But continuing in your western direction, you travel for another about 5-10 minutes.
As we walk across this path, are there just still like person after person?
You can kind of break up at this point. It was more to get to, like, you had to follow a path. Now it's kind of dispersing of trees. So like now you have a little bit more room. You're not on a singular path. It's kind of a wider open expanse. So you don't necessarily have to be lined. You could fan if you wish.
Sorry, I meant like hanging person. Like
Oh, I'm sorry. There are, for the next about 5 minutes, you do see periodically a series of hanging individuals. Some young, mostly young, some old. All seem to be elven. All seem to be wearing similar garb. For the next 10 minutes or so, you pass beneath several more of these figures, and with each step and each glance up into this horrible treetop, the temperature dips another few degrees. After about 10-15 more minutes, you see a large looming shape in the distance in this now foggy kind of this fog kind of permeates the ground, but off in the distance, shrouded in fog, you see this large shadowy shape. There's like a massive rock or a structure or something kind of spherical in nature, though its edges aren't exactly smooth, and it's difficult to make out at this distance and obscured by fog. But it's large. Even from this distance, you gauge maybe 20 feet wide, maybe 30, maybe larger. But it's difficult to tell from this perspective necessarily. You begin to crouch a little bit closer and closer. And at one point, you take another step, and as the temperature dips, you feel that same feeling of stepping into a thicker atmosphere that washes across you, like passing through an unseen barrier, and the cold sets in ever deeper. It's not blizzard-like. There's no snowfall, but it does begin to cause you to shiver and want to cover bare skin.
As we encounter that, maybe I'll just like look at Hondo and Gordon, give them the nod that this is the moment.
Okay. So are you guys moving away from the group, or are you going to continue walking for a bit? It looks like this shape, whatever this is another maybe 40, 50 feet away.
I was thinking you could like be flanking us but farther away from us, like trying to stealth like just a little bit away from us. I don't know if that's like 10 feet, 15 feet, whatever you guys feel comfortable with. Or do whatever you want, Hondo.
You're both of you, yeah, Brock and Kevin, it's your call.
15 feet sounds good.
I'm going
Back
to cast
or away?
Levitate on myself.
Okay.
What were you going to cast on yourself?
Levitate.
Cool.
I will make a note of levitate. You can't move forward or backward with it. It just keeps you up off the ground, and you can move up and down up and down as much as you want, but you can't move with it. You can be pulled along by another figure, a creature, or something like that.
Mondo, pull me.
Yeah, like
I'll get a rope. I'll get my rope.
you wrap a rope around a now levitating gourd, and he's like weightless to you, like it's like pulling like a balloon. You have a gourd balloon trailing behind you.
But hey, he's not making any footstep noises. So.
He no longer needs to make a stealth check, but I will ask Hondo to make one.
Come on, Hondo.
So we'll follow behind.
About 15 feet back, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good.
8.
Okay. But still plus a lot for your stealth. I think it's more.
15, so that's 23.
Even pulling a gourd balloon, you are very cautious of your steps and seemingly very quiet, at least to your group. Hondo and Gourd seem to have, without looking, knowing that they're there, you wouldn't know they're there. As you guys continue forward, we'll deal with Mary, Lavender, Valentine, and Allie. The cold does get cooler and colder at the same time of this kind of sudden temperature shift, and as Hondo and Gourd take a seat back, you guys continue to push through this atmospheric shift, and it begins to kind of play on some of your perceptions, except Valentine, actually. Valentine, you notice no difference beyond the cold. But Lavender, Allie, and Mary, colors suddenly begin to flare with rainbow hue. The fog that permeates the ground suddenly bubbles effervescently, globs of it rising and falling in these crazy foggy shapes that ripple like an ocean, and then suddenly a large like hand kind of swirls up and out and flows back down. Ahead of you, where this foggy shape, this shadowy thing, suddenly you see it ripple with energy, like a beehive shrouded in tar. You see a light within this dark shroud, and it's fighting and battering against the black tar, which is unmoving. The light, it's just so inviting to you. Its warmth is everything you need. Whatever lies on the other side, it calls to you. You want to embrace it, and you do everything. If you do, everything will be okay. I need Lavender, Allie, and Mary to make wisdom saving throws.
Oh boy.
Oh god, I'm such a little
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh dear, let's see. Come on.
What is it? Oh.
Oh, natural 20!
Nice. Oh wait, don't I just get to keep that?
Yeah, you don't add anything. Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
16.
Okay. Mary?
24.
Okay.
Nice, guys. Clutch.
Yeah, Allie, natural 20, definitely. The three of you feel this overwhelming invitation and this desire quickly take over, and you all are prepared, knowing there's something is going to happen in this space, and you're prepared. You're aware that you need to fight back, and you all steel your minds, and you all shake your minds, shake your heads. Valentine, you watch as all three of them, almost in unison, kind of stop and squint, and then the colors revert back to normal, and everything seems okay. The shape ahead still remains, but nothing seems to have made its way into your mind. You guys continue pushing forward. From the back, Hondo and Gourd, you pass through this same effect, and I need both of you to make wisdom.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Come on, guys.
Best laid plans.
$29.
Yes.
Oh.
Kevin?
Hondo?
That is
What
insane.
you got for me, girl? Oh,
Oh no.
6 plus what? Wisdom saving
Plus
throw.
what?
It's 2, so 8.
Yes. Yes.
And you're towing Gore.
Yep. Yeah, Gordon, your save doesn't fucking matter, bud. As the four of you ahead are reeling and shaking for a moment, Valentine, the moment of pause of what the fuck is happening, you know something's coming. They all seem fine. And then you hear as Hondo is sprinting past you, trailing Gord by a rope. And Hondo, you have to touch that warmth. You have to embrace it. And you dash, action dash, bonus action dash. You use everything you got in your kit, and you fucking run.
Can I try and cast Hold Person on him? How far did he get?
I'll allow you the chance to cast.
Okay.
But I want you both to make dexterity checks.
Okay.
Essentially an initiative off. So Kev, make a dexterity check. D20 plus this. Oh, not great.
Okay.
What
do you add now?
His is plus your initiative.
Plus my dex check?
Initiative or dex check?
It's essentially an initiative check. So initiative.
Plus 5, so 10.
7 for me. Fuck.
Oh.
What's the range of Hold Person?
60 feet.
So, Hondo was 15 feet back. So 15. Hondo, your speed is 30, right? So 30 puts him 15 feet ahead. Action dash puts him another 30, is 45. Bonus action dash puts him out of range.
Oh, this fucking rogue.
Of course.
This fucking rogue.
Hondo fails all of the wisdom checks that involve taking over his mind and telling him to go do something.
Just try and raise my hand. No.
Val, I would say you cast the spell as a hopeful attempt, but unfortunately, as you essentially cast as he's like bolting past you, you expel the energy, but he is beyond your reach. In theory, you could have caught Gord, but Gord
I was aiming for him.
By him, so Gord also, you in theory could let go of the rope. Like, you don't need to be pulled all the way. You're not tied to him. But for comedy, I thought it'd be fine to have you being pulled by. At any point, you can say I'm not going, or you can go the whole way. It's up to you.
Or you can try to stop him.
You can do whatever you want as well. But you are suddenly being thrust alongside Hondo. Do you hold the rope or do you let go?
I'll hold on.
Okay, interesting.
I respect it.
You guys watch Hondo tear ass ahead of you, and Valentine, you try to cast a spell, and it fails. Unfortunately, Hondo breaks through the fog ahead, and you see the fog kind of part in his wake as Gord is pulled in, and you guys begin to make your way to catch up towards them. But sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I'll just quickly say, change of plans. Do you want me to be the hidden one, or are we abandoning that?
I just start running.
Hondo, you make your way through the fog and make your way your full dash is 30, 30, 30, so 90 feet. So yes, you make your way with still movement to go at the exterior of what looks like a mass of tangled bramble. You see thick black cord-like veins wound taut, creating a massive sphere of thorn-covered bramble. This black cord with little hints of blue gives off this faintly cold aura, but it doesn't matter because you know that warmth on the inside will make everything better. And with Gord in tow, you begin pushing through this bramble, tearing through, fighting, just clawing tooth, hand over fist, tearing section open, trying to pull yourself through. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, he's good at this shit.
Okay.
Damn it, of course.
14 on the dice. What do you add?
Dex save?
Yep.
So not 5, so 19.
So, as part of your roguish ability of evasion, you take no damage on a success, correct?
Do I have to?
Is that I'm just double checking? Is that's how evasion works, right? Or is it no damage on success, or only no damage, or how does it work?
Usually
Yeah.
it's specifically on spells, I think is how it works, but it's or on a I'm not sure.
So just read evasion for me if you can.
Okay, where did I find evasion? Sorry.
It should be in your
It's under-
features and traits.
Okay, so evasion.
Hondo, your dex save is +10.
Yeah, he succeeded.
Oh, I know, but I thought he only said it was a +5. I'm like, there's no fucking way it's only a +5.
I thought that too.
I'm looking at Never, I was looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, just for next time, make sure you use the right one because it's +10.
Okay, evasion, it says when you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dex saving throw, to
Okay.
take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw, and only half if you fail.
Perfect. So, Hondo, in your haste, you just push through, but your natural ability is still to not get hurt. You're not dumb. You're still conscious in your own mind that I don't want to get hurt doing this, though it seems kind of difficult to do. You pull your way through, managing to separate enough space, and you're lithe and you're quick. You manage not to take any damage, any significant damage, though you do see across your scaled arms and area it caught your clothing, and you see a couple of small nicks and scrapes, but amazingly you pass through this wall of thorns relatively unscathed, despite taking a couple little nicks and catches. Gord, at this point, you would have been pulled through unless you choose to stop.
I'll get pulled through.
Oh God, it's gonna hurt.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
That's my guy.
22. This dice loves me.
Okay, that is definitely a success. However, as you are pulled through, you see Hondo managing to make it through. You are less in control of your body, as Hondo's currently in control of your body. And you find it difficult to avoid the brambles, and you're getting caught and slashed. You take 25 points of piercing damage and an additional 24 points of cold damage.
Oh shit!
Wait, did you succeed? What did you roll?
22, I thought.
So sorry, so half of that. So what I say, 24, 25? Yeah, you take 25 points of damage altogether. My bad. But you make it, you're pulled through this bramble, and you are far more scraped and torn than Hondo is on the other side, but you both appear on the other side. What are the other four of you doing as you sprint to catch up, as you see the two of them just push their way through this bramble?
Is there any hole through this bramblewood that they created by pushing through, or no?
A small one, but not like a tunnel. There is now a little bit of movement you can see through as a result of them passing, but not one that you could make through with no damage.
And how high up does it go?
As you look, it seems to rise 10, 15, then 20 feet, kind of as a dome apex, but 20, 25 feet at its very top. And it seems to be this massive dome.
So does it come to a roof of brambles?
From what you can tell from the ground, it looks like it.
Shit.
How far wide does it look? Does it go until we can't see anymore in the fog, or does it look like a tight circle?
It stretches at a pretty wide radius or circumference around this space. It's difficult quickly to gauge, but it's large.
Can we see through to the other side where they've can we see past the brambles?
Make a perception check now, as they have kind of pulled this space apart.
Good, real good. Perception 29.
Yeah, you watch, you look through, and you can see inside this sphere of cold, jagged bramble. You do see a faint pulsating light that silhouettes Hondo, who is now kind of no longer sprinting, but walking towards the base of this tree. Gord, trailing behind, being dragged in the air. but you can see the base through this bramble like patch, the base of a tall tree of white bark that stands split with a natural split about maybe 10 feet up. You can see it splits into two pieces, almost as if two full trees were grown up and then connected in one, became intertwined and continued to grow into the emerald arches above. But in the space where this natural arch exists between the two trees, you see this faint rainbow-hued light that seems to fill the space and pulsate like a slow heartbeat. Across the tree, you see these faint veins of the same rainbow energy along its low branches and outer bark. It would be beautiful if it wasn't for the shroud of darkness that seems to be surrounding it. And worse still, Hondo and Gord heading directly to its heart.
Okay, so quickly, how far through to the other side of the brambles was it?
It looks like about 10 feet of bramble, and then about 20 feet around from bramble to tree base.
So I'll quickly tell Lav, grab Mary, it's 10 feet through, dimension door, and then I'll grab Brawley, and on Fern we'll dimension door, but I'm going to try and jump us directly in front of Hondo.
Okay, easy enough with dimension door. Hondo, you are still under this influence. You need to touch this rainbow light. You need to feel its presence. And though you were slowed by this bramble, and though you took no major damage, you had to fight your way through it, and it took a significant amount of time. And you were just awestruck by this just ever-present light that fills your vision ahead of you. And then suddenly, Valentine is standing before you, blocking this light.
I would say it'll be me on top of Fern with Brawley holding Brawley's arm.
It can't be all three of you.
I think Fern can just take whatever effect I do automatically through the mount thing.
Okay. That's probably
I can look it up
true.
quick.
That's probably true.
Okay.
I mean, otherwise you could just say Fern will run in after. He probably won't take as much damage from.
There is a chance of taking a bunch of damage if he does. Let me see.
While mounted on it, you can make any spell you cast that targets only you also target the mount. So that's your call.
While mounted on it, you can make any spell you cast that targets only you also target the mount. Yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Okay.
You guys make it inside, all three of you on the mount. Hondo there, three of you directly in front of you. But you really want to touch that light. Mary, what are you doing? And Lavender.
I don't know if we should dimension door to the same spot or not.
I told you it was 10 feet in just to get through. But please don't dimension door into my body. It does not go well. I didn't say... I didn't.
Thing?
Yeah. I didn't go 10 feet. I went even further than that.
You went almost the full 30. Like to the base of the tree. Because Hondo would be like one space away from entering this archway. Valentine, Fern, and Allie are now blocking that, but you guys at your back, you can feel this kind of light like right there.
I'm going to dimension door us right behind Hondo, so it's like we're like surrounding him.
It's great.
Okay. Throw me a Wild Magic Surge.
Oh, cool. This would be a fun one.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I got a one.
Oh, shit.
It was like 13
and
and
it
I rolled
moved.
to 1.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh
I'm
boy.
nervous.
Oh, Mary,
no.
prepare to get fireballed in the face.
That's actually like a decent amount of wild magic searches, though.
Yeah, truly.
Man, I never have it ready. Fuck.
Which is unfortunate as well, because that means it's just like a decent amount of me just rolling a 1.
These are 10s, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Throw percentile.
Scott was so ready. Like, he like threw those dice.
Okay, which one do you want to be the first one?
Pink is first, blue is second.
Okay.
89.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'm nervous.
Hang on.
Sorry, Leah. I hope I don't kill you. Yeah, kill Hondo.
I have a lot of hit points.
Oh, Maria, what the heck?
I didn't even hear what you said. I thought you said Allie.
I thought she said my real name.
Yeah, I think you did Mary and Leah,
Mary.
which turns into Maria.
I love that.
I'm just trying to see if I had a different thing. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh god.
Oh boy, this is a fun one. Our best plan yet.
Just
Immediately
destroy.
foiled.
We have never succeeded with this plan. We've
never
tried to-
succeeded with a sneaky plan.
Can't
No.
my wild magic surge be that it just destroys all the ogres?
It could be. You don't know.
Can I try and grab Hondo too?
Absolutely, you can. So yeah, make an athletics check. Hondo, make an acrobatics check.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Let's just go with the one that's in the book. I thought I made a modified one with some more specific stuff that I
Ooh,
like.
that's good. Hondo rolled 3 on the dice. What do you add to acrobatics?
21. Because I have a 10 for acrobatics.
You had 10, Hondo?
Yep.
So
Sorry.
13, and then Brawley, what did you get?
21.
I rolled 11, and then so 21.
So Allie, as you were dimension doored through and you're shaking for a second, you see Hondo just like glazed over eyes, pulling Gord behind, who's just kind of like watching and like pulling thorns out of his arms. You just whoosh, grab hold of Hondo. Hondo, you're trying to struggle against because you just want to touch that light so bad. And directly behind you, you see Mary just appear. You don't see Lavender.
Oh god, what?
Nobody sees Lavender.
Am I invisible forever?
Does Lavender see Lavender?
Lavender's there.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, is lavender a potted plant or something? I know that's one of the things.
Oh my god, am I?
Lavender, you're there, but none of you can see Lavender.
Okay. Where's Lavender?
I don't know. She just. I didn't do that, so that had to be her. Can you do a dimension door without sending yourself through?
Lav, did you turn invisible? Are you here?
Am I there?
Yep. You're invisible.
That was what it was?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So you're just
Oh, fuck.
invisible.
Okay, never mind.
Just
This could
invisible.
actually-
Guys?
What?
No.
You guys?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Where are you?
To be honest, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. We went through that thing and then poof.
I will slap Hondo in the face.
Okay.
Wake up. Ooh. Wake up.
You have to roll for that?
It has no effect, Hondo. You just want to break free of that grapple and touch that color. So make an acrobatics check. Allie, make an athletics check.
I was gonna say, as soon as I get my head around my shit, I would help Allie. I don't know if that works.
I would say they get this off before you get a chance to
Ooh,
react.
that's good. You rolled 14. What do you add, Hondo? 10?
24.
Brawley's confident. What do you add?
23.
Oh.
Hondo,
What do you
like, you take a
24.
quick gut shot at Allie.
Oh.
And it doesn't deal too much damage, but you're kind of just like, oh, what the fuck? You get shocked and you let go, and Hondo slinks away. Pulling Gord behind, Hondo heads to the tree and passes into the light.
Oh, I was gonna say I can't. No, I guess I'd be.
Can Fern and I jump up and try and grab Gord?
As your like reaction, essentially, if you want to
Yeah, just-
try and hold on to him,
Yeah.
sure. Make an athletics check.
Oh, fuck. I'm not strong at all this shit.
You might just go with them.
It's a natural one.
Natural 1.
Oh, no.
Valentine,
Oh
you
my
leap,
God.
You leap off of Fern, you miss Gord entirely and fall on your face. Hondo passes through, Gord gets pulled in unless Gord changes his mind.
Gord?
Let's do it. I'm getting pulled through.
Gord and Hondo pass through this rainbow-colored light, and you guys feel this like warmth wash over you, and you pass into a realm beyond this one.
I just
What?
want to point out, Hondo he went through a crystal
Yeah.
when this happened. He tried to take a small child to a head very recently, and now this is 3 times.
He went through an acid dimension once.
Yeah, wisdom saves and rogues. It's classic. The
And
4
he's
of
so
you still
fast,
remain.
no one can catch him up.
What do
Oh,
you do?
God.
If they just went through, we have to move right now. It could be years until we get to them. We have to rush in right now. And I will Are you guys with me?
Yeah, fuck. Let's
Yeah.
fucking go.
Okay, everyone hold hands. Lav, I don't know where your hand is. Where's your hand? Where's your hand? Where's your hand? Where's your hand?
I go and I grab his hand.
Okay. Invisibly, Lavender follows suit as all of you pass through mere moments beyond Hondo and Gord. As you cross the threshold between the realms, you leave behind a haunting forest and pass through one tree to another. You take this first step forward and see at your feet the rime vine, this black and blue bramble vine snakes along the ground, and in your haste through this mess on the other side, it passes through the same portal and back towards where the bramble grew up and around the tree. As you pass into the Feywild, you see the bramble on the ground kind of continue and snake along, winding over rock and root and through snow. As you begin to take your first steps into the Feywild, you are not greeted by a lush, wonderful forest or dazzling and playful scene. Instead, you step into a snow-dusted forest. The trees hang low and bare, branches withered and weak. The tree from which you step, as you look back, you do in fact see a large tree with an arched cleft in its base that serves as the door, but its branches are bare, its light is faded and dull, the bark looks withering. The color of this rainbow arch is all but drained from within. Hondo, as you make it, as soon as you made it through the other side, your mind is clear. You have accomplished the goal, and you have made it to the Feywild. And you felt great. You feel good, but you are back to yourself. As all of you gather on this side of the Feywild, mere moments beyond the rest of you pull through. It's cool. It's cold on this side. It's not like I say blizzard temperatures, you're not taking damage, but it is definitely cold on this side as you look across a vast winter expanse in a what looks almost like a dying or dead forest.
What type of day is it here?
It seems a semi-perpetual dusk. It seems like this kind of faded pinkish purple sky above. Though, I should note, your bodies still feel tired, as in you have traveled your full day's travel and still had a full morning and afternoon of travel and discussion. Pushing forward much further will risk exhaustion.
Should have fucking camped in the other forest. I just had an awful thought,
What?
and I'm probably wrong, but I'm a pessimist. What if he just wanted you to come here because he knew that going back the other direction would just mean we're potentially gone for months?
Yeah. Or that we're not there now to protect the forest.
Exactly.
Listen, there's a lot of bad things, but we're here. Hondo's alive. Lav's invisible. Let's just make the most of it.
What do you guys do?
There's no like clear path forward, right? It's just a forest.
Make a survival check.
I think I'm not gonna click on Heartbreaker, but I'm definitely like on high alert. Can I just see if anyone's like watching us or anything?
Make a perception check.
I only rolled a 9.
Mary, you look about the space and it doesn't look like a clear path in any direction, and in fact like the ground cover is covered in a faint dusting of snow, so even trying to find any obvious path or signs to follow, they seem to be covered for the time being. And unfortunately, yeah, you do not. The only thing that you do see is this trail of vine, the bramble vine, but you lose sight of it beneath snow and rock and all this other bullshit. What was your perception?
Natural 20.
Beauty. You look across, and now actually a lighter sky above, kind of thankfully, though it's dull light in this space kind of gives off a threatening feeling and just like it's alien to you. It would be beautiful if the forest itself wasn't also in this dying state. And as you look across, you see no real sign of creatures, and then a singular caw catches your ears, and you do see a single crow cock its head to you with its black beady eyes before flying off in a direction through the woods.
Okay. I'll put a hand on Fern's head. Be like, so this is where you are when you're not with me, eh, bud?
Kind of
Sure, it's a little nicer than
He
this.
nods again.
All right, I think we're pretty tired. Do we want to try and find a safe-ish place to make a camp in the Feywild? I say with a grimace.
I mean, slightly further away from this doorway where things may go to and fro from might be a good idea.
Maybe we go further into the forest, and Gord, you could use your tree and make a big... You could use your staff and make a big tree we could all hide in.
Can't do that anymore.
Sorry, what?
I don't have my staff.
What's that thing you're holding? Oh, it looks a little different.
This is my new staff. I can only cast 50.
Oh. When you died, did the staff become that staff?
Yeah. Staff of the Woodlands died when I died.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up.
Oh, no, this is just like when you killed Gerard, Gord's snake staff.
I forgot that was Hondo.
Why'd you have to bring that up, Hondo? Valentine deflects.
What about all the wolves Gord had too that Hondo killed? A voice in the
What
darkness
happened
says.
to those wolves?
Sit up to him, man. I've saved this guy.
Gord had wolves?
He did. And then they died because
For a
of
hot
someone's action.
second. For like maybe 45 minutes.
Let's not talk about it. Gord seems upset already.
It's like the 4th session. Maybe less than that. Yeah, let's just get away from here for now. Somewhere to the side where maybe we can still keep an eye on things if there's a path here, but probably not directly something where someone can find us. I mean, they're fucking gonna find us anyway. They're the fucking Feywild.
Maybe, let's try and move a little further in and find a big tree we could replicate what we usually do in.
Potentially. I don't know very much about where the fuck we are right now. Vaguely remember something about, like, a lot of Fey forests being alive. Are we okay with being in direct contact with the flora and fauna, or is this something we need to be worried about?
Oh, I think this is going to be a lot of trial by error. I have no read on this, except that my patron is here somewhere, but this does not look like whenever I've visited her in visions. So
Great.
we should be on high alert, but I think you're right. We need to get away from this door.
Okay.
So let's just walk straight, choose a direction, try and find a place we could camp out.
Okay. You're looking for just something that looks like safer?
Yeah, vaguely like shelter, maybe something that could get us high off the ground, or like a...
Sure. Either make an investigation or survival. Someone with advantage is like your party aids you.
Mary?
Yeah, I could do an investigation.
Sure.
That's much better. Thank you for that advantage. 29.
Nice.
You guys travel together for maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, picking over snow-dusted landscape, climbing over like large rocks and these fallen trees that seem to have they look freshly fallen in the ground, but the tree themselves, it looks withered and dying and flaking apart. You have yet to really make any sign of other creatures, and as you continue pushing forward into this kind of forested area, you come across a little expanse of a larger section of stone that, as you kind of get closer, you notice is not a natural stone, but looks like a broken formation at one point, like man-made in some capacity. And following that, you see more. You see several. You see kind of a large field of littered with broken rock and pieces of walls or battlements, long crumbled and fallen over. In one space, you see a wide, almost like what would have been a section of a gate that is about 10 feet wide, and it's fallen over, but it's created this little alcove that you could use as a comfortable shelter, open on two sides, but easily protected by a group like yours. It looks safe enough and could comfortably work as a shelter.
This looks perfect.
Yeah. We definitely need to keep watch.
Yes. We could set Fern up on one end and almost try and block it off, and then we camp in the middle and people stick watch on the other side.
As you guys start to settle into this space, I'd like Valentine to throw a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh boy. Ooh. Wiz save 14.
Okay. So what are you guys doing with this shelter?
We could have Fern go to one side if there's like a side that's lower down, and he could just kind of like sit there facing out on watch.
Uh-huh.
Then we could rest in the middle, have another two people on watch facing out.
It's also at this point you notice Lavender just pop back into
Jesus.
vision.
Oh, can you see me?
Yes.
Oh my god, how embarrassing. Good thing I wasn't doing anything weird.
What? Why did that happen? Was it one of the things?
Don't talk about it.
Okay,
We'll talk
sorry,
about it
so
later.
sorry.
Such a disappointing use of wild magic.
I thought it was great. Could have been real scary.
It would have been fun if that was like right as we were about to go to a fight, because that would actually be useful.
I know.
Yeah.
God, there's just so many other ones that would have been so much more interesting.
I definitely thought it was the potted plant one.
No,
That would have been
like
so
Mercy.
funny. Poof, poof.
Lab, it's so nice to see you again.
It's so good to see you. But to be honest, I can see you the whole night.
Does anyone have anything else they can think of that would help us camouflage this space? Or
I'm gonna quickly go to the bathroom while you talk about.
Is there like there's no like fallen branches nearby? We could try to like make a lean-to up on one side to try to camouflage an opening or anything like that.
You've got tons of fallen woods around. You could try and gather enough wood to like make a cover.
How tired are we getting?
You guys aren't too bad yet, but you are pushing into like, you know, another half hour is going to be pushing it. You guys are at the end of the day right now.
Okay, I might ask Allie just to help me for half an hour. We'll just do as much as we can in half an hour to try to like, I don't know, try to add a little bit more shelter to this, maybe potentially camouflage at least one angle.
Okay. Let's have either each of you individually either make investigation or survival checks just to see how quickly and much you can gather of appropriate material.
Everyone?
Just Allie and Mary.
Okay.
26.
Okay.
I rolled an 11, so probably not much.
Your survival's pretty good.
Yeah.
My survival's good, yeah. So 16.
Yeah. Between the two of you, over about 10-15 minutes, you gather some hefty-looking logs that are almost like split into an alley, just like snaps it in two, and it actually kind of fits nicely to cover the majority of the space. Mary finding some others that fit the space and kind of shrouding them both in other like branches and things, and then just like kicking up some snow and dust over top to try and make it look more natural. It looks like a relatively well done cover for the one side, and the other
This is
side.
this is where we live now. This is our new home.
You guys are all beginning to feel the weight of the day toll take on you, and you're getting rather tired.
Okay, we should definitely do watches. I'm very nervous about leaving one person to do a watch on their own, but
I think we do
Fern
too.
is, yeah, for sure. Just in case something fucking happens and one of us gets mind controlled or who knows what, that someone doesn't just leave on their own without anyone noticing.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Plus we have Fern.
I'll stay up first. I don't mind. Who wants to take watch with me?
I can go with you.
Done.
I'll go second.
Do you want to go with Brawley, Lav?
Yes.
And Hondo and Gord, you're the last watch?
I don't want to go with Hondo because last time we did that, this whole thing happened, and I think that's honestly the reason we're here, because he opened his big fat mouth over there.
Wow.
That's your best friend you're talking about there, Lav?
Yeah, it's called tough love.
True colors are showing, and it's not lavender.
Ooh, that's a good line.
That's a great line.
Good.
Good night.
As you guys all begin to settle in for sleep, I need Valentine and Mary, who are taking the first watch, to both make Constitution checks.
Oh,
Constitution saving throws.
okay. Oh, great. I got 18.
I also got 18.
Nice.
Look at that.
You guys get through the first hour of your watch without falling asleep. You can also either one of you make perception at advantage or both individual perception checks.
You can do it, Scott.
You say you can do it or individual?
You can do it.
Okay. Natural 20.
Okay.
Oh, well, good.
13.
Ooh.
Over the first hour, you both sit in a relatively cold area. Do you guys light a fire or anything like that?
I wouldn't want to draw attention to us.
I would
It's gonna get colder.
have taken out Flint and whatever, and then looked at Mary's disapproving face and then put it away.
Okay.
Let's get us as far as we can. I'd like make sure we have like our blankets and shit. Like we're not just sitting in our.
No, you guys are bundled as well as you can be, but it does kind of get through that without a fire to keep you guys warm. And not that night descends here. You notice over this first hour and then your next hour, it doesn't get any different in light, but it is cold.
Maybe we should do a fire.
All right, if we have one, we can do a small one. It's still an open roof here, so we can still have it so the light isn't exactly seen from the outside.
We can try and sit in front of it, have it behind us.
Sure. And if it's not getting too dark, the light won't shine quite as bright from a distance yet.
With the small fire, the light doesn't seem to do anything, though you do see a little bit of trail of smoke that would give sign of where you are. But over the next hour, you don't notice the sky change any. I need you both to make another con save.
Maybe you should, as we're doing this, maybe you should tell Fern to nudge us if we fall asleep.
Yep. Not as good. 13?
24.
Okay. Val, you do find yourself kind of slipping into nodding, and between Mary and Fern, kind of nudging you back to consciousness. The cold seems to kind of get at you a bit, but you bundle close. But you are managing to weather the storm, so to speak. As like you get into the third hour, hang on.
I'll scooch close to Mary and be like, "You're probably cold, so here." But I'm mostly doing it so she can warm me up.
What's your perception total with the natural 20?
My perception total is 33.
You notice. Oops, sorry.
Nothing.
Admittedly, when it's this cold, I kind of miss like the furnace that is Keith.
I know.
He hangs onto so much warmth.
I know, he's like a huge hot water bottle.
I hope he doesn't age.
To get back, he's like an old man billy goat.
He's got his beard.
And so fat. He would be so fat.
Oh.
Val, you notice two little specks as you're kind of looking out over this like otherwise dead forest and this white expanse of tree. You notice this very faint shimmer. Two small, very tiny shimmers in the air. About 20, 30 feet from where you guys are sat. They seem to just be, you see it for a moment, like passing through the trees.
Are they, how close together are they? They're not like eye shine? Like they don't look like eye shine? Or
They are, yeah, they're too far away and like at different heights. But you just happen to notice two similar looking things. Yeah, they don't look like eyes though.
I'll just kind of put my hand over my mouth and try and whisper into Mary's ear. I just spotted two kind of floating shimmers about 20 feet to our 11 o'clock. If you know what a sundial is. Were you trained with sundials? Mary, I can't hear you. Are you asleep now?
I'm muted.
She was just ignoring you the whole time.
You're just looking for them so intently?
There are clocks in this world, right? Or am I like...
Not where you come from.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay, so I'll explain a sundial later, but it's just like a little... See that one big tree that looks like Hondo taking a poop? It's just to the left of that one.
That's a very weirdly specific and an accurate description. Wow.
Thank
You watch, Mary, you still don't quite pick up these things of
I
Valentine.
have my goggles on, but like my dark vision's still only so good with them.
It's not dark. It's
Oh, that's
like
right.
dusk light. Like it's dim, but not dark, and it's not darkness that causes it. You just don't see anything. But Val, you watch these two lights. They get a little closer, but they seem to either have noticed you guys watching, or for what other reason, just kind of halt in their movement, and you see them still in their space.
They're just kind of like hovering a bit.
Now about 20 feet from you.
Does Mary see that?
Mary still doesn't pick it up.
Val, I don't see shit. Just
Shh. They're like real close now. They're like 20 feet away from us, right? 11 o'clock, like 11:30 o'clock, right there.
Fern see it?
Mary, you can make a perception check at this point with Valentine trying to, but at disadvantage, sorry.
Because of sundials.
Oh, the first roll was so good. 18.
Should have inspired you, but I didn't.
No, you save those.
That's on me.
You'd think you see one little shimmer, but it could have just been a weird flare, a little bug in your little thing in your eye.
Does this feel like... Does it feel natural or does it feel arcane? Do I feel like this is an invisibility thing? Is there
You can make an Arcana or Nature check, your choice.
I'll do Arcana. 24.
It seems like the shimmer of an invisibility, but it's so small that it seems like, I mean, it's not a person. It can't be like a humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
But given your surroundings, like, you know, there are stories of creatures of the Feywild that spy on things and watch people and, tinker with little odds and ends and pickpocket. And there are many, many different tales of 1,000 different types of creatures of the Fey that would fit this description. Both good and evil, I should say.
Yeah. So I'll kind of just be like, they're just kind of watching us. I don't know what they could be, but they could be little invisible things. But, I mean, we don't know what they are. They don't know what we are. I don't know if we should even interact with them.
I feel like instigating anything here without knowing what it is a terrible idea.
I agree. So I'm glad it's you and me on this watch.
Fuck, did we not agree to let Hondo and Gore go last?
I know. I didn't realize it till the end.
These two shimmers, make another perception, Valentine. As time has passed.
God, this dice for me. 17 plus 13 is 30.
You watch as they drift up and over, and then kind of over top of your structure, and you lose sight of them as they are kind of drifting over top of you, and you're not sure whether they've continued or where they are without moving position.
I'll kind of telepathically tell Fern that we were watching something and be like, can you smell anything weird? And I would also, I think, get up from this little campsite, and I'll just peek out of our shelter and just stretch, but kind of look up, see if I can see them.
Okay, make a deception check.
Oh, it was going to be a 12, but it's a 2 plus 15. Jesus. 17.
Unfortunately, I rolled pretty good. You stand up, and your movements, you see both shimmers suddenly shake and fade, and you see these two small gossamer winged green skinned figures, and they both look down at you, and you see kind of arcane power gathering, and you see a little flash of dust over top of you, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Is it a charm?
No.
Okay. Oh, man. 18 plus 3 is 21?
Sorry, this is a Constitution saving throw, but nonetheless.
One less, so 20.
Good, and another one.
Okay. Not as good. 4 plus 2 is 6.
You see this like shimmer of dust kind of cascade over you, and you like try not to breathe it in, and you look up just to see what they're doing as another just gets you full face, and you kind of shake it free, and it's like getting a glitter bomb in your face for a second, and as you blink your eyes open, both creatures are buzzing off into the distance, fleeing. And you look down at Mary, and suddenly Mary is growing massive. The thing that the broken piece of stone that you guys were hiding underneath is just growing immense as you, Mary, watch Valentine shrink into an itty bitty Valentine.
Oh no!
This is so cute.
My God.
Valentine is smaller than a halfling.
Oh,
Almost,
it's so cute.
like just condensed in all directions.
Yes.
Incredibly small.
Oh shit.
I just sigh so long.
Oh.
Why did we have to look? Why do you always have to? Okay,
I wanted to look.
I know. Well,
So I looked.
at least this happens now. Maybe you can sleep it off.
It's kind of fun. Everything's so big.
I kind of want to watch you ride around on Fern. I think it would be hilarious, but this
Oh.
is not the right time.
Is Heartbreaker just as tiny? I'll like take it out.
Yeah, all your equipment has been shrunk.
Oh.
Sick. Put it back on. How tiny am I? Just so I can envision it. Like
How many
Mary's
feet?
knee.
You are 1/8 your size.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
You're
if you
what,
were
like
8 feet tall,
6
you'd be a foot tall. So you're
I'm
9
less than
feet
a
tall.
foot.
You're 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Or 6, yeah, you're 6 feet tall roughly. Valentine, I think, is in the 6
He's a little tinier, but yeah.
So you are like 8 inches.
Oh, I'll be like, Mary, please pick me up so Hondo doesn't step on me.
Is it like a tiny little, like helium voice?
Oh yeah, his voice is definitely.
Aww.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah. Here, I'll just like hoist him up and put him on Fern's back so he has a bit of another.
No, let me finish the watch with you.
Oh, okay. Fine. I'll put him.
On your shoulder. Let me just chill here.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay. Put
I'll
her.
just sit on your shoulder with my little legs swinging off.
Tiny Valentine sits on your shoulder, and you can make your perception has already continued, and you see nothing further plague the last hour of the watch. However, I do need both of you to still make another Constitution saving throw.
If you get bigger while you're up here,
Oh, not great. Pardon me?
I said, ooh, natural 20. I said, if you get bigger while you're up here,
True. Dislocate your shoulder. I rolled a 9.
Okay. As much as this has been a very fun last hour of experience, you unfortunately feel the effects of exhaustion take you, and you fall asleep
I like to catch him
as
I
he
feel him
slips off
slipping
your
off.
armor, catching in like your cloak. You lift him up in this palm-sized Valentine and place him in Fern's fur.
Oh.
I'll like wrap a little blankie around him.
You're like a
You
Kleenex.
unfortunately suffer 1 point of exhaustion.
But I'm just about to sleep?
It's going to carry over
Okay.
as a result of pushing the extra couple hours. Getting this rest will not get rid of it.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But it's only, I think, disadvantage on ability checks for first point. Not the end of the world.
Is
It's under conditions like top right. End of first watch. Mary, you awake the next watch.
Don't step on Val. He's tiny now.
Why is he tiny?
There was like, I don't know, I actually didn't see. He said he saw something that might have been invisible, and then he sneezed a lot. He went outside to look, like, you know, he does. And then he sneezed a whole lot. And he was really tiny. I don't know. Weird shit's happening here. Just don't follow anything that you see. Just make sure it doesn't come to us.
Okay. Will do.
And don't step
Wait,
on
what
him.
do you mean something that we'll see?
You
Did
know,
you see something?
I didn't see shit. Valentine apparently did, and now he is the size of a doll. So, I don't know if it's going to wear off. I really fucking hope so, but at the same time, it's surprising. It's weirdly cute, but I don't know how much going into a fight that's going to help. Anyway, just don't go off following anything. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. We'll be all right.
Fern knows to wake someone up if you guys end up taking off, so. Anyway, I'm going to sleep. I'm fucking dying.
Okay.
Yeah, enjoy your rest.
Mary finally settles down, succeeding to push through without exhaustion as Lavender and Alana take the next watch. Again, perception can either be rolled individually or one of you with advantage.
Who has the better perception?
I think
Probably
mine is...
Definitely not me.
Amanda.
Yeah, no. What? Are you
So
minus
probably
one?
you with advantage.
I'm 0.
well,
I'm -1.
Okay.
yeah, we really thought this through.
Yeah, a pair if there ever was one.
Yeah.
Let's see. 13.
Okay. Pardon me. Oh. After getting a couple of hours sleep, you guys have shaken the worst of trying to push through that initial exhaustion that was plaguing you. And over the first hour of your watch, you sit close to the small fire and just try and keep warm through this cold, and try not to think too longingly of Keith back in Endora or some of the crazy shit you guys have been through over the last couple of days. And as the second hour begins to creep over, the light hasn't changed. It's been this perpetual kind of dusky purple sky over top of this otherwise dead-looking forest. When you hear a crack of wood kind of snapping underfoot, it would be on the opposite side of your encampment. In theory, think to the north of you. You would be hidden to it as of now, but you hear it off in the distance.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that. Did that sound big? Did that sound small?
Sounded like an average crack.
Should we wake somebody up about this?
Maybe wait. If it gets closer, then I would worry.
What if it gets close really, really fast?
Hopefully not.
That's what I like to go on. Oh, please.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna wait?
Yeah.
Okay. A moment or two passes and you can hear another couple footsteps. They seem slow, plodding slowly over the snow, and you hear more cracks and a tumble of brush get kind of kicked up underfoot, and they are getting closer. It seems slow though, oddly slow.
Can we see anything in the dark?
It's not quite dark. If you want to peer out and look, see what you see, make a perception check.
Okay. 17.
You and Lavender have like a quiet moment of I'm gonna look, here we go. And you kind of creep up and around the edge of what this like fallen gate, this stone would be, and you just kind of peek over the side, and you see what looks like a humanoid figure, pale white blue skin and dark hair. They seem almost like frozen, but moving, wearing kind of tattered, what might have been nice clothes at some point, but like a nice shirt and vest and like a long overcoat. They seem tattered, and you see catching leaves and thorns and things caught within. Their hair kind of hangs down over the face a little as they walk with their head down, almost shambling a little through the woods. You see it in its hands are ahead of it, holding this small kind of object about that size.
What do we do?
Oh, that's gross. What is that?
It looks vaguely elvish in features. As it gets another step closer, the hair kind of shifts, and you can see kind of a what, like I say, once would have been a rather beautiful face, though now you can see kind of frost bit like cheeks, and the tip of the nose has gone a little almost blackened, but you can see the points of ears sticking up through dark hair that kind of hang down still, and it just kind of takes another step, shambling slowly forward. It's about 15 feet from you guys.
Should we do something, or should we just stay here?
Maybe we'll stay really, really quiet.
Yeah.
And just watch that guy.
Okay.
15 feet away, it grows closer still, 10 feet away.
Is he walking straight for us?
Kind of in a little bit of a winding path, but in your direction.
Okay.
Another few feet, and it is not making any audible sound, but it is growing closer, directly towards where you two are seated now, and it kind of begins to kind of wind its way around. There's this like two trees, these thin trees that have nothing on top of them, but they sit, about 5 feet beside this section of crumbled rock, and it kind of walks around it. And for a moment, you're exposed to it, but it doesn't seem to like look or react to you at all. But as it kind of crests around the second tree, it turns towards you, and you see it kind of take a slow, shambling step towards you, carrying this small, like not even like cantaloupe-sized item. And it shambles another step forward, and it is at your campsite, standing before you, this frozen White Walker-looking figure.
We say, "Hello, sir. Hey, everybody. I have a really good joke for you to tell. What's your name?"
Its head like creaks back with a snap of ice. You see just pale white eyes, and its hands release the item, and it just rolls and stops.
I cast telekinesis and I grab it.
Okay, you grab it. Wild magic surge.
Oh.
Get another one. It'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. It was 13, but it was literally like one doop from one.
At the last second, you cast telekinesis and catch this item as it falls. And as your magic takes hold of it and it pulls close to you, you turn and see a head. You see this long gray hair trailing off of an old, wizened face, elvish, pointed ears, very clearly dead, as it's just a head. In its mouth, you see a faint kind of roll of parchment, a faint piece of parchment.
And then can I use my telekinesis to like pull that parchment out and unravel it without having to touch it?
You would have to drop one bit and take the parchment, so drop the head.
I already grabbed it.
Okay.
Oh, you grabbed it? Okay, you grabbed it?
I made the gesture already, so...
As Allie, you reach out and grab the note, the figure behind just crumples into a pile of undead form.
Oh, no. Okay, you read it.
You unfold the note.
It's so sticky!
It is, but as you unfold it, the stench of death is overwhelming.
I quickly cast prestidigitation on that little item, and I make it smell like lavender.
It takes care of that.
Ooh, girl.
And you read in common, a gift for the people of the Vale. Their champion returned. And then see you soon. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Who's that dead person?
That could be Sylvanas.
Yeah.
The guy we were told to come
Champion.
get.
Oh, no.
This guy you're told to come get to save?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So we're going to end tonight.
Oh.
Guys, I'm feeling
Oh, that was so good.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the Wildcards continue to traverse an unexpectedly muted Feywild in pursuit of the Dark Crow. There will be a new episode up every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.